City. What are you talking about? Like,
Okay, hold on.
well, I'm still the only straight white dude on the show,
There
even
you
with 3
go.
people.
And he's, he's British. They might as well be a different color. So
Yeah, we are. I mean, I am so pale. I basically count as something new.
there you go.
I haven't left the house in months.
But
It's fun.
and Vex, I haven't seen you on camera anyway, so I'm just like I forget that you're even.
Well,
I
now
just
I'm the black kind of dark right now because I was in the woods for about a week. So I've darkened a few shades. Now people will arrest me on site.
does that actually happen in Canada though? I thought that's America specific.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a lot of guests today, but we do have the hosts at least and Vex Electronica. So thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Sorry I was late, but you guys were
Yeah,
still
it's
chatting
all.
because I wasn't late.
We were waiting for you. It's all your fault. We can blame the guest. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Women things, that's really all it was.
Forgetting. You said you were outside.
Yeah, I was. I totally forgot it. I went outside. I was like, oh shit, I agreed to be on BSUP.
Jesus Christ, your fucking ADHD is on attack mode.
I'm out of it, dude. Like in the last 2 days, I've literally just been in bed, like watching movies or sitting in the grass outside. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Hey, well, at least you're watching movies. So
Yeah,
at least there's
that's
that.
true. Yeah.
Um,
Subjective.
well, with the 3 of us, I know you said you didn't want to talk about the Acolyte, which is, that's a huge topic.
No, you guys go ahead and talk about the Acolyte. I'm just going to, put up appropriate memes for such a discussion. That's all.
Oh God, are you watching it at least, Vex?
No. Why would
You're
I?
not even watching. I don't know.
I have a life.
That's fair. Are you?
I thought you would really love it, though. I mean, it's right up your street. There's diverse lesbian space witches. There's like virgin births and stuff. Like this is all you, isn't it?
Oh,
No.
these.
No. Sorry, this is a new gag that I have going.
Yeah, I see that. I haven't bared witness to this yet. Thank God.
I'm just waiting for the swastika to come up next. There's got to be one.
Oh God.
Wouldn't be Vex on the stream if we weren't
demonetized. That's how we don't even know
something.
what you are, Vex, because you're constantly changing between like a Nazi or Justin Trudeau.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm still trying to figure out what my second Acolyte video got demonetized for like ad censorship stuff, and I think it might be a swastika because my editor snuck one into like the first 5 seconds. There's a clip from a film or something, so it's not like overt propaganda. Though he is Italian, so he could well be a fascist. But I think that was it. It's just that the mechanic behind the scenes didn't understand what was going on, so it still tells me that the entire video is graphic sex, and I still don't know if it is actually the swastika that caused it. But I went back through it just for my own edification, and I can't see anything else that would get it like pulled.
That's amazing. And they, I assume you appealed it.
Oh yeah, I appealed it, and within a second of me hitting the button, it said you've been manually reviewed, and we said no. I don't believe you. I think you're just lying. I like it when a bot tells me that something's been manually reviewed. I can trust everything.
It's incredible. And wait, so after that, I've never gone past that process. Like I've appealed. I've had to only appeal like 1 or 2. What do you do after that?
Nothing. You can't. Like in theory, that's what the new system's there for, because it's supposed to tell you where in the video the offending content is, so you can cut it out. But it just told me my entire video was offending content, and I can't obviously cut out all of it. So if you don't do that, and then if you hit appeal, and then they manually reject you with heavy inverted commas, that's it. You click the button again, and it says, we've already reviewed it. You can't do anything. So forever, it will be demonetized and age restricted. Hooray.
Oh,
but the other two are doing
that's
fine. So how did the one that didn't have lesbian space witches in it get demonetized?
Yeah,
that's the one that was the least offensive one, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, your one with the lesbian space witches was the one that opened up with that huge gay montage, right? Like where
no, that was the first one. The first one was the gay montage. Lesbian space witches just had lesbian space witches in it.
Huh. Yeah. So after you are demonetized and they reject it, then you can't even go back and edit it, right? Because
it's done forever.
Yeah, because I know, like, I just got like I went back and just took a little piece out of an old video, and it makes the system rerun on the video again, and it got demonetized, but it allowed me to go back
What?
and edit out the section that it
Oh,
demonetized me for.
I tried that with, I think it's either a She-Hulk or a Rings of Power one, and I can't remember because I was like, I know somewhere in this 2-hour video I called somebody a cunt, but I don't have the script anymore, and I don't know where it is. So it's really just a guess. And so I went through and I thought I'd found where it was, and that there was only one, so I deleted that. But then it got reviewed and like rejected again. So it's like, oh, I must have called somebody else a cunt, and I can't think who it was.
Um,
I appealed for my Furiosa video and they put it back up, but now I can go back and just clip out the parts that were like flagged for demonetization if
well,
I
yeah,
wanted
but
to.
well, this is not interesting anyway. This is just YouTube like shop talk. This isn't interesting, but neither is the Acolyte really. So, I don't know. Let's get that out of the way since Vex doesn't want to contribute.
I'm not watching it because Star Wars is fucking stupid. So forgive me.
Wait,
Do-
oh,
do-
you're the person that never liked Star Wars at all, right?
Exactly.
But
That's me.
you do like Saltburn. So like if Star Wars had like someone sucking cum out of a bathtub, you'd be all in, but it doesn't,
Well,
so no.
rather, if Star Wars were just a metaphor for a demonic possession or summoning, I'd be totally on board with Star Wars. There you go.
Well, episode 4 dropped, as everyone knows, and since BSUP is on Mondays, we're literally perpetually a week late on this show. But episode 5 gets to come out tomorrow night. I'm so excited.
I actually am unironically excited because the last one was so boring that the
Yeah,
the writer who wrote it said like, oh no, we wrote them two together. We just put all the exciting stuff in episode 5. So that's something to look forward to. Things will happen at least. It won't just be walking through a forest. Excitingly.
well, episode 4, that'll be known as the episode that introduced the Gimp fucking bad guy. Everyone's
Yeah.
calling him Zipperhead. And I don't know. Every time I see something that looks like that, I just think of Pulp Fiction.
The 3 I haven't used GIMP yet. I think Smilo Ren is the one I've heard most, and I sort of I'm jumping between Smilo Ren and Daft Punk at the moment. But it's probably
Yeah, he looks like he's
Smilo.
gonna drop a sick fucking beat on him. That's how
I was
he's
looking
gonna
at it thinking,
beat
God, you took that breakup hard, didn't you? I knew one of them didn't want to quit, and now that one is now sort of an evil Sith person who's
Yeah.
massacring people in the forest.
That's the true the story. It's not Ocean and May. It's Daft Punk. That's what it is. But it looks like something out of a Zack Snyder movie. Honestly, it looks edgy. It looks like something. Yeah, it looks like if he designed it, and that's what this episode's going to be known for. I don't know. It took me like 2 hours to watch this 30-minute episode, and it was the slowest episode of them all and the shortest. Like once you actually exclude opening credits and closing credits, it's like a 25-minute episode.
Yeah, and then the recap at the beginning as well. And most I did go through because even this video, because hopefully my video on that one should be out tomorrow, and I think that's going to come in at under 90 minutes, which for me has not happened in a very long time. It's like it's nothing to talk about if my video is only like an hour long.
God, that would be my longest video. It's so crazy.
But you're right. Like the design is just who do you think it is though? That's the big question that's definitely going to be answered tomorrow, and everyone is waiting on bated breath for who is Smilo Ren? Is it like, yeah, who is it? Who do you think?
Well, unironically, yeah, the question is who do you think it is? God, I don't know. I lean towards the like the whatever the fuck what does Drinker call him, the discount Ezra Miller?
Timu Ezra, yeah.
Yeah, Timu Ezra. That's pretty good. But I I'm not nearly. You guys are sitting down breaking it down on EFAP and everything. I'm not doing that. Who do you think it is?
I was like, up until Friday, I would have said, oh, it's going to be one of the mothers, and it's probably horny lesbian, the one with horns on her head, who is a lesbian. Yeah. Because like, she's angry, she doesn't like the Jedi the most, she's the most violent, and we don't see her die. So like, my guess would have been her. But I have gradually been convinced over the period of a few days that because that would be the right decision. It will not be her, and so it will be Timu Ezra because that is
Right,
the worst one
because
they
it's
could go with, right?
obvious.
Yeah.
Right, and that's kind of how I felt, I don't remember what specific thing it was, but it was something in Obi-Wan Kenobi when I was like, "Man, you aren't gonna do the clever thing. You're going for the stuff that was baited." Okay. So, yeah, my guess was as discount Ezra Miller, and my second was definitely White Mall. So, yeah.
It is.
Um,
It's like it's maddening though, because like you sit there thinking that I've just spent hours, breaking this down scene by scene, trying to figure out who the characters are and what the characters are about. And yeah, okay, I figured out that they are one-dimensional, boring shit stains very quickly. But at least I think I know what they're about now. And then all of a sudden, no, fuck it. That everyone switches their motives, which basically means that there aren't any rules for how the show operates. So you sit there thinking, it'll be one of the mothers because the mothers would thematically tie in. It's the most useful to the plot. It's contingent on the story. It would be a twist. It easily connects to past events. She could give a new perspective that we haven't heard yet. That will turn Osha against the Jedi. There will be a fight. That all makes logical sense. But because it makes logical sense, it's not going to happen. And like Timu Ezra, by contrast, he's been chucked into one episode for no fucking reason, no connection to anything, just there for exposition, inexplicably not arrested, even though he gives people poison to murder Jedi Masters.
no,
The
if you
Jedi are
just
dumb.
tell us, we'll let you go
Yeah,
with a warning.
we'll
Just a
let you
warning.
off with a caution. God, if I could murder or have a hand in murdering multiple people and get off with a caution, I'd be living in fucking California or something.
Yeah, they
because
have the
yes,
guy
that's what
fucking
happened
red-handed, that he helped kill a Jedi, and they're like, "You just, give us the info, we'll let
there.
you off with a warning, sir."
I mean, the only alternative now to it being him, I guess, is that they do like what they did with Ahsoka when, for the episode after episode, it was who is the guy in the mask? Who is Marok? Is it going to be Ezra Bridger? Is it going to be, I don't know, Darth Maul? Is it going to be Kathleen Kennedy? Oh, no. It is literally just a fart in a suit. That's it. Just green gas. Fantastic. They could do something like that. Like if he takes his mask off and it's just some random gun that we've never heard of, that would be on par for the rest of the show. But I have also seen like what seemed to be production photos. I don't know if they're fake or not, but assuming they're not fake, it does show Ezra with his mask off. So it's
Oh,
gotta be him.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, there you go. And, like, the stuff that was obvious bait from the like, the way he was talking throughout the entire episode, it becomes increasingly obvious that they want you to think it's him.
Yeah, and I thought that was like a misdirect, right? So, they
Yeah, of
want us to
course.
believe that, so it's not going to be him, but actually, I'm not sure they're that competent.
Yeah, I try and like when they pull this kind of shit in movies, you can try and watch people's gait and how they walk. But I don't know. Sometimes they'll actually use another actor for the masked character and not have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, to actually
Because
throw
like
people off.
I was looking because like you see his hand holding the lightsaber, and it's like, well, that
Yeah.
doesn't look like a woman's hand to me. And I don't know if he's the right height to be one of the mothers, but they could just be putting a man in a suit for these scenes, and it actually will be a female character later. Didn't they? They did that with was it in the Black Widow film? I'm sure they did that
Yeah,
with
with
like not Taskmaster.
Taskmaster.
That one, yeah.
Taskmaster,
It actually is a man in the suit, so everyone thinks, oh, it's going to be a man, but actually that's just bad production value. It's
Yep.
nothing in the script that's clever. It's just, no,
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
complete
supposed to
misdirect.
notice.
Yeah, they made the person. Well, in some scenes, I thought it could be a woman in that because it like it looked like they were wearing shoulder pads and stuff. But most of the time, it just looked like a man, and then like it's like Austin Powers level. Like it's this woman he knocks out, and then he pulls off. It's like this hairy dude, and it's a man, baby. But what I did like about this episode, they actually didn't perpetuate the ginger side of Hollywood. There was a white Jedi instructor that had orange hair at the 3-minute mark.
We got the specific timestamp for the first white dude in the Acolyte.
2 minutes.
4, 3 minutes in.
2 minutes and 56 seconds in, and he tells everyone maximize your defenses without need to strike.
It's such
And-
horseshit as well. It doesn't even correspond with anything they're doing.
I know. I noted yes because striking would be offense. You fucking moron was my note on that. I'll have to go back and watch that scene to remember what the fuck I was talking about. But
He'll die though because he's ginger.
oh yeah,
and the writers referred like all the Jedi who accompanied them to the forest world, Kofar, I think the world is called. The writers referred to most of the nameless ones as red shirts in their script. Obviously Star Trek, so that means they will all mostly die, mostly. There might be a few survivors, but a lot of them will just be gone, which will be great. But just like with that's the other annoying thing about this episode as well, is because it's really short, but it feels so long. But the first third of it actually just takes us back to where we ended episode 2. Because episode 2 is okay. Well, May's just killed fucking Tom and Baratheon, and we know where she's going next. And then Greenbean's like, no, you have to come back and we'll have a conversation about it. And so, well, that's dumb because you're already having a conversation. Just do it over the phone, goddammit. But no, you have to go back. And then episode 4 picks up, and like they've completely swapped. So now it's Squid Game who's like, I mean, she's trained, but she's a bit shit. There's nothing to worry about. And it's Greenbean saying, no, there is. She's going to kill more Jedi. So, you said that in the last episode. You're the reason we're back here. And then she concludes it with, oh yeah, and so now we have to go and rescue him. So, but we were doing that. That's what we were literally doing until you told us to not do that. Why have you just brought us back here to add 10 minutes to a 20-minute episode where nothing happens?
And they also have to, I don't know, kind of like reorient you right at the beginning of episode 2. Because of the fact that they spent the entire third one away from the main story, telling us something that basically already knew. I wrote down here, the Acolyte recap reminds you of what it's doing best. It's a deconstructionist piece, sloppily done, of course, with the Jedi are bad, Jedi is good exchange between Osha and May. Haven't we seen this enough?
That's such profound dialogue.
Yeah, it really is exactly like that. And
there's the other bit at the end as well, where like May is like, "What have you done?" And Osha says, "What have you done?" And then May says, "What have you done?" And then like she doesn't die, but you know they get split up. It's like, oh, I know that's there for a kind of purpose at least, because yeah, like obviously there's so many hints that not everything in episode 3 is as we saw it. Like the fact that we don't ever leave Osha's side, so we haven't seen May's perspective. The line she throws out about us being stuck here now, so she's already done something. The fiery notebook thing did not actually burn down the whole temple, probably a fortress even, because that would be dumb. But yeah, I mean, it's not. It does work better backwards. I laid that out in the second video. Like if you actually reverse the episode order and the order of reveals in terms of mystery, and you start with the flashback one, it works so much better because then there's an actual mystery. It's like you start off, she seems to be dead, then you get the first murder, then there's the misdirect, and only at the end do you learn that the sister who you thought was dead was alive. That actually kind of works. And it works so clearly that I really do think they have just chopped it up after the fact. Like they must have realized that the two girls can't act for shit. And this will be a terrible first episode. So we're going to change it. That could be episode 3 now, and episode 1, which would have been episode 2, is now 1, and 2 is, yeah. I'm sure they've done that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Disney way. That's what they did with She-Hulk. Because the first episode was supposed to be the last episode. So they just kind of flip-flop shit around. Well, the first episode, well, at least with the first episode of She-Hulk, that's what they did, was put the origin in the front anyway. What did you think of the like, besides the writing flaws and how actually just boring this episode was in general, you being a Star Wars fan, what do you think of these lore breaks going on?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I mean, it sort of confirms everything that everybody kind of already knew, but just it's like that's the thing that I think makes the Acolyte the most hateable of all the Disney Star Wars things. Is like it combines the worst elements of every preceding show. So it's got like the sheer pointlessness of Boba Fett, the character assassination of Obi-Wan, the terrible writing of Mando season 3, and it's all sort of condensed in, and it just confirms that, you know, all these people who've gone for ages saying, "Oh, I know we burned all of the canon, but we do care about Star Wars." Honest, no, you don't, because if you did, then you would know not to make that mistake, wouldn't you? And then you read like the writer who so unwisely engages with people on Twitter and has since locked her account. But I screenshotted all of the replies, so fuck you.
Yeah.
And she's like, her excuses for all of this stuff is just you haven't thought about this. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know anything about the characters you're writing, and you haven't thought about the characters you've included as cameos, which break the canon so much, which of course is going to piss people off. What did you expect if you spend billions of dollars to pick up a franchise which is famous for having much loved canon and a fan base which is very particular about it? Why would you expect people not to be pissed off about that? And it's just the sheer incompetence on every conceivable level, more so than anything else, more so than like the political message content, more so than lesbianism and feminism and whatever like political thing you dislike about the Acolyte. The incompetence is the thing that really just stands out as being just depressing. Funny, but also depressing. You kind of have to laugh at it, otherwise you'd be really miserable.
Well, it makes sense. Did you see that video that was floating around about the person, the higher up at Disney, that was being interviewed during?
Oh, is this the
during
the
the
James
dinner.
O'Keefe thing?
Yes, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty fascinating. I mean, all it does is confirm exactly what we already know. For those not familiar with the video, I don't know if I'd get hit with anything for playing it, but essentially he just confirms about DEI hiring, and that he even admits that he himself has been overlooked because of the fact that he's a white guy, which is just fucking hilarious to like have to admit while you're having, I don't know, whatever the hell he was doing, a dinner date or something. It's pretty funny. But either way, he was just talking about again what you all would expect, code words for how to go about these things without triggering lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. But that would most likely be incoming at some point. Jeremy Winfield in the chat says part 2 came out today of the O'Keefe Disney tapes. I haven't even seen that.
I have not seen that yet. Is there anything on that we didn't already know though? Because I can see its use for I mean, but then again, like we follow this kind of stuff maybe more. So like I guess it's more useful to like a wider audience that it reaches on Twitter, and it's not particularly news to anyone who has already been paying attention, which I guess is the utility of it. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see if there's anything in part 2 which is actually kind of news. And also because the annoying thing about part 1 is that they spoke to a white guy who said he had been passed over for promotion, which is it's so easy to counterattack that I'm surprised it hasn't already happened, because then like anyone who wants to argue against this will just say, well, of course he's complaining because he's been beaten for promotion. He's blaming it on minorities and it's really his fault. It's so easy to come up with that kind of shit. I just did it on the fly. That's actually a lie because I mentioned it on FNT on Friday, but I forget what I said a few days ago. I would like to know if they've spoken to anybody more useful, I guess.
Yeah, because everyone already knew it. It's one of those situations where I was like scrolling Twitter and you feel like it's such a big thing and you're like, oh yeah, I know. It's not just Disney either. It's everything. I was speaking with someone on New Year's Eve I hadn't seen in a long time. She worked in production for theater. So it's Hollywood adjacent. So that kind of thing. People come in and out, and they have to deal with the exact same thing in New York and off Broadway and on Broadway. It's the exact same idea as something Disney's dealing with. So,
but everyone should surely already have sort of deduced this if they've got half a brain, because when you go and you fill in a job interview and it asks you to tick boxes based on your identity, what do you think they're using that for?
Yeah,
like, none of this should be news to anybody who's applied for a job in the last 5 years. But I guess some people are innocent and naive and they just think that they're trying to keep diversity data and not use it for anything like changing the makeup of your workforce. Which is why my approach was always just tick other in as many boxes as possible. Are you disabled? Other. Like, would you like to explain? No.
No.
I used to do that too. I'd think like, oh, I have IBS, so I'm technically disabled.
You guys mind if I do some super chats? It's a little easier with 3 people.
Not at all.
Cool. TGV Monster for $2. Thank you, sir. Hi, Cynic, Platoon, and Vex. Good seeing you. It's good seeing you too.
Hello.
Thank you very much. TVG again for $5. Thanks again. I'm sure that Deadpool 3 will be a hit, but the bad news is they still have to release Ironheart and Captain Falcon, which has been reshot 4 times.
Holy fuck, I'd forgotten Ironheart completely, but that's already made. Like that's finished, isn't it? They've done it, and they're not releasing it.
I think it was scrapped.
No, I think like what I'm gleaning so far is Disney sees what the reaction was to what WB did with Batgirl, and they don't want to shelve it because it is an admittance that it's just trash, and it makes something that's already in disarray like the MCU look even worse. So shelving it and reshooting it and just dumping money into something you're going to lose money in anyway, that seems to be Disney's route.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to see how Riri Williams gets a gay Transformers suit. That's just
yeah.
What an amazing story that I'm sure that will turn out to be.
God, she looked like if Dr. Robotnik roboticized the Pokemon.
I'm sure I've jumped on that thing playing Sonic before.
Yeah, exactly. She looks like a sizer, roboticized. Dr. E, aka Darren. Remember, for 1 month, I want to see the witches twerk to some gangster rap.
Oh.
If you want to see some twerking related to the Acolyte,
Oh,
all you have
no.
to do is watch Amanda Stedland's video.
Okay, I have questions about this because again, I disappeared for a week and I don't know what the fuck happened. And I came back and this ugly mulatto chick was all over my timeline. What is she doing exactly?
She was
Like, what
she's going ham.
is
She was
she really just
sending up
twerking
the
in anger?
haters. Yeah,
Okay.
she was just I don't know if that's her style, but she whispered all of her lyrics. I don't
Okay.
know if that's her thing. She also proudly stated at the end of the video that this was directed by her, which is
And
something.
produced.
That's something.
So it's a music video.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you read the lyrics for it though?
Oh, I
No.
watched the whole video with the lyrics on.
Vex, you haven't seen the lyrics for it.
I haven't seen the video at all.
Oh my! How have you not seen it? Like you honestly, you
can't
would
play it
love
either.
it. No, we can't because she said that she's giving everyone 72 hours to respond to it, but then she'll copyright strike you if you play it. But
Yeah, Dave.
also like the whole chorus being that we're so bored we don't fuck with your discourse or whatever the fuck. But she took
You
72
literally
hours.
made a
She took
fucking video,
72
dude.
hours to make a video. But no. What's the like the first? I hesitate to call this a verse because it's not. It's just stuff. It's the second verse, which is like the really funny one, just kind of like in terms of what she's actually saying. So in lieu of the habitual Josh Brolin poetry, I bring you Amanda Stenberg blaming white people for everything. So the second one goes something like, and oh god, I don't speak urban patois. How does this work? And now you listening, I'ma tell you something fascinating. They spinning woke, bastardize it and appropriate it. Last I recall, woke was something we created. Speak truth to power. Keep an eye out for you silly racists. And now they use it to describe anything they're threatened by. Remember when Gambino put it in the zeitgeist? It was all about the people recognizing bigotry, the power of community, not fodder for your clickbait. Speaking of which, journalists, I'm looking at you. Did you forget it's your job to provide the truth? Spreading divisiveness, mining the metrics and date. Seem you gave up your ethics for money and views. I can tell you the people are tired, blah, 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 blah. Where's the
that part of it too?
That bit too. Where's the other great bit where she's like blaming white people for 400 years of oppression?
Yeah, that's
Is
near
that not
the end, actually, I think.
Oh, the
her-
rap has not quoted that bit. How bad?
Her last name is Steinberg.
Stenberg,
Yeah.
because her father is a Danish millionaire.
You can't make
You
this shit
can't
up.
make this shit up.
Cannot make this shit up, dude. She's talking about oppression.
But she goes on about how like white people's oppression, and like she compares herself to like slaves, and about how bottling in your anger causes things like addiction. Where the
No,
fuck is
being
it?
a rich nepo baby and being bored and having no goals or anything makes you addicted to things. I think you see that quite frequently, actually.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the lyrics now. I'm curious.
While you guys do that, I'm gonna read this next super chat.
Okay.
Torn Axe for $5.99 of fake money. At last, we will reveal our woke to the public. At last, they will have revenge. Thanks for the
True.
chat. Did you find it yet?
No.
Is it
Why is
called
this
the
so hard to
Anonymous Ones?
Mm,
No, that's from something else. Okay, hold on.
Oh, is this it? Oh, I think I got it. My sis said don't let it get down my spirit, but I'm sick and fucking tired of suppressing my rage. 400 years of taking their bullshit to compartmentalize like my ancestors had to encage. If you don't confront the pain that you live with, it'll manifest as addiction, disease, and hate. I've seen the infection repressing can give you. I'm not going to be the next one sent to an early grave. So comparing herself to slaves, which is fun. 400 years of taking bullshit from people like her father.
she probably hates her father.
And white people are to blame for problems of, I guess, addiction in the black community, which she's only half a part of. It's fantastic.
And she was delivering fantastic lines, by the way, in the Acolyte episode 4 as I can't believe my sister is Jedi scum. My note for
she-
that is acting is off the charts. Star.
Is she the main character in the Acolyte?
I
Like
mean,
the one
calling her a
with the-
Yeah,
character is a bit of a
oh.
stretch, but she plays both of the twins. So
she's the
she's
chick that's
technically-
on like all of the promo images.
Yeah,
of, like,
her.
Threads, right? Okay.
This is her facial expression throughout the whole show.
For both twins.
Yeah. And you have already cycled through more facial expressions just by
Yeah, I
changing your
blinked.
profile picture.
I fucking blinked. So
And she's so, I mean, she really is bad. The two, like the younger versions they get, like the kids they get to play her as a child are really bad as well. But like, at least they're young and theoretically have time to learn to get better, but she's just appalling. But the fun thing is, like, she wasn't even cast for this role because Leslie Headland said, like, she'd had her in mind for like years. And like all the concept art was modeled off of Amanda Stenberg, which in any other context is basically going to someone and telling them that you've been stalking them. It's like, I've been dreaming about you for 5 years. I look at the pictures I've drawn of you. Do you want to be in my show? Like, no, Leslie, leave me alone.
oh god. Saying she just looks like she woke up and is confused as to what time it is. Yeah, basically. She looks when she sees Zipperhead at the end, I think I made a note, but I just remember. I wonder if my note's any good. Oh yeah, 27:44 timestamp. Oh look, Osha sees the GIMP. Is she shocked? Is she afraid? Is she happy? I could use one of her lines to tell me how she feels right about now. Nah, that's a terrible fucking note because I have no idea what I was writing. But her facial expression when she sees that guy is the exact same as in any other situation. It felt like throughout the last 3 episodes that she had been in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just she puts in a little more effort as May, but not much. So it really is. When it comes to Star Wars, I can't necessarily, or Disney Star Wars, I can't necessarily blame the actor off the bat. I normally give them the benefit of the doubt because they're just kind of stuck in a shitty situation often. The kid actor from Obi-Wan comes to mind. She was not good, but she's been good in other stuff, you know.
Yeah, the character was written terribly in that situation, but it's really unfortunate with like the Acolyte because she's acting opposite Squid Game, who's genuinely quite good.
Yeah, he really is
all the way through.
He was getting shit or a little bit of shit, and I'm extremely impressed with him. Like he actually does stoicism right, is what I said in my video. Like this guy actually learned English for this role, and it actually suits the role. It actually works. It's like everything he says is I don't know. I'll actually listen to Squid Game. I like him.
Yeah, I wish he were in a better Star Wars show. He'd make a really good Jedi in any other timeline except the one that we are currently, enforced to live with.
That poor guy, he learned English for the Acolyte.
And he still delivers it better than most people who are nominally fluent in the language, even speaking it as their first language. Much more eloquent than anything we get from Amanda Stenberg when she's rapping on Instagram. Is that rap? I don't really know what rap is.
I don't
gather
even
that's
know
rap.
what it is, what that counts as. Because it's just like whispered the whole time. I don't know if that makes it a subgenre. I live in Nashville and I hear country music and like fucking blues.
I'm toying with the idea of covering it just to get around the copyright problem because it's two chords, right? It's 2 chords. I could just put like 2 notes on the piano, and all you do is you have one track when you're whispering really like this, and then sometimes if you want to layer it to make it sound like you're musical, you add over the top of that, you add an octave higher. And you're speaking like this, and you're also whispering. But then you layer the 2 of them together, and it sounds like fucking amazing, or it sounds like her. So she thinks it's amazing. She's very proud of what she did in 72 hours.
Yeah,
to tell everyone how much she doesn't give a shit about the backlash she's got.
You can actually get copyright struck for covers too. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I uploaded a cover before I did YouTube, and the video was still on there after before I had this is my private account, like that I turned into a channel like 2 years ago. So I have an old thing of like me doing a White Stripes cover that was uploaded. So once the channel became monetized, that got like copyright struck.
I had that
or not struck. It got a copyright claim rather, not a strike.
The Thor Love and Thunder video I've got, which is well, I don't even know how many views that's sitting on. It's like 1.5 million, I think it is. There's 10 seconds of my cover of Kate Bush's running up that hill in that video. And very early on, it was, that's ours. It's not. I made it, but okay. And I left it because I didn't really know at the time what was going on. So for most of those views, half of the money has been going to whoever owns that song. And I only appealed it about 2 months ago when I realized what was happening. And of course, it sailed through, it was upheld. So I could have had way more money from that video than I got.
Oh.
It's a bummer. Cockerel says every vid she has is heavily auto-tuned. Yep, she can sing or rap. Yeah, let me try and get through some of these super chats too as they're coming in instead of waiting until the end. That one Ginger Draven for $4.99. Thank you. Just a quick thanks to Cynic for recommending X, Chef's Kiss. Looking forward to seeing more from this director. Yeah, if you watched X, definitely check out Pearl because Maxine, the third one in that trilogy, is coming out this year, and the trailer just dropped for that. So check that out if you're interested. If you liked X, you'll definitely like Pearl. Normally, it's the other way around. People like Pearl and don't like X, but if you like X, you'll like that one. TGV Monster for $5. Again, thank you. This stream was supposed to have a lightsaber fight between Cynic and Platoon, but like $180 million Acolyte show, they didn't have the budget.
Oh,
the show has no fucking budget.
Everyone's sitting there right from the beginning saying, well, at least we'll get a Wookiee Jedi. That'll be cool, right? No. Lol. Died off screen.
No, if only he had the capability to withstand lightsaber blows like Reba did.
He's not even stabbed. He's just sort of scratched.
Yeah, he's kind of like grazed.
Yeah.
He was grazed.
But no, he's dead. But you can stab Sabine straight through the gut, and she's fine the day after.
Graph Web for $2. For fuck's sake, hashtag cancel Disney Plus.
Isn't it in the US especially just bundled in with like every provider at this point? So like even if you don't pay for it, like it's coming with a subscription to something. Like I know a lot of people that got it through their cell phone provider. I don't know if it's like that.
Oh yeah. I have a free Disney bundle through Verizon that's in perpetuity as long as I have Verizon. So that's how I have Disney Plus and Hulu.
There you go.
And ESPN Plus, which I actually use. Like I use Disney Plus for work. That's pretty much it. It's certainly not for pleasure anymore. Yeah. Hang on, let me grab a couple more of these. Istari Azul, is that right? For $1.99. I refer to them as Shariri. Shariri?
Who's them? Oh,
yeah,
the twins?
Oh, May and Osha. Yeah.
Is it true, as somebody was saying, that she just stole the name off of a Canadian soap brand or something? Apparently there is some sort of Canadian beauty product called Osha May. And the twins are called Osha and May.
I don't know. You would know that, Vex, you Canadian, you. When I think of Osha, I think of when I used to work in a warehouse in my 20s. And my boss always come out and be like, if that fucking guy is from Osha, you're going to be fired. M8566 for $5. Are we making Platoon read the Amanda Stenberg rap? Yes, and we did.
I did it voluntarily because I think the message is so important that it just has to be gotten out there. Someone has to bring it to the world in a way that doesn't involve twerking.
Rolando A. Ramirez for $2. Amanda's not ugly. I'd do her, but she's crazy. Well,
I don't know. Yeah, if you're crazy on the inside, you're ugly on the outside. That's the way I operate.
What even is that dance thing? I mean, is that twerking or is that something she made up?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the it looks super basic, everything she's doing. So it's just a camera angle. So you get that like the butt flap out front move that the ladies
butt
like
flap
to do.
Out front.
Yeah. Like where they're gyrating. The chat knows what's up. Like when they're gyrating and then the butt comes from the back out to the front because they're gyrating so hard. That's what they do.
They rotate their pelvis by 180 degrees to put their butt at the front.
That's right. I don't know how else to fucking describe it. And I can't play the video to show you what I mean. Like, I feel like if you were watching the video and I was giving a play-by-play like a sport, you'd understand
I
what
mean,
I was
technically, we can play the video. It's the audio that you get struck for.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain. I had a bunch of other topics too, unless you guys are super interested in carrying on about the Acolyte episode 4.
Nope.
No, it's so like, it's been a chore. I'm looking forward to getting the video out of the way so I can move on to talking about something else like the Acolyte episode 5.
Yes.
So much better.
And then maybe 6, 7, and 8.
And 6, 7, and 8, yeah.
I did want to bring up what I don't know, this has kind of flown under the radar a little bit, but Inside Out 2 is definitely going to cross like $1 billion, which is a massive win. A massive win for Disney. And Mega Geek might be joining us. Might have a fourth person, just FYI. But
yay, more color.
But yeah, this movie had the strongest second weekend hold out of any movie that's crossed over $100 million on its opening weekend, which is absolutely incredible. The box office and how it's performed has changed dramatically over 50 years. There's like each decade kind of has you can take a look at what is standard and it'll change per decade. So it dropped only, I think 35%, and it opened to almost $160 million, and it made over $100 million again this weekend. This is all domestic, by the way, and it's worldwide numbers. It's going to cross $1 billion. I just think this is awesome. I think it's great that a movie is actually performing this well. And I haven't seen it yet, but I saw the original one for the first time ever, like last year, and thought it was very, very good. I didn't know. I'm sure you guys haven't seen it yet, but I didn't know if
I
you
have
guys
seen
might have
Inside
any
Out
thoughts.
2, actually.
Oh, you did? Excellent.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Honestly,
Is it worth the hype? Is it worth $1 billion?
I don't know if it's worth $1 billion because I didn't particularly like the first one. I thought the first one just had a lot of story issues. Like, it had a great first act and a great last act, but it didn't know what to do in the middle. The second one, it seems to have learned from that mistake. The narrative is a lot tighter. I don't know if you remember the first Inside Out movie, but it was in the very beginning and the very end, whenever the emotions do something in her head, you see it play out in what Riley, the little girl, is doing in real life, right? And for most of the movie, they kind of forget that what the emotions do are reflected in real life. With this one, you see consistently whatever each emotion is doing, we see what it's doing to Riley in the real world. There's not really any political agenda unless, like, you think it's kind of weird that a lot of black girls are playing hockey. I don't see a lot of black girls playing hockey. And like there's one.
Aren't they? Where are they? They're not in Canada, are they?
They're in San Francisco, but like,
okay.
Yeah, because she lived in like Minnesota or something like that, and she played hockey there. And
Oh,
then she
right,
comes
yeah,
down and tries out for another league. But no, the emotions are better. They don't have the same screen time as the other ones, which is kind of sad because it was really balanced in the first one. But now they introduce 4 new emotions, but they only focus on anxiety, and you don't get to see the other ones really do much of anything, which is disappointing. But there's no humor. I think that's the biggest issue with this, is it's lacking all of that quirky humor the first one had. It doesn't really have any heavy emotional beats either. So it's not a bad sequel. It's pretty decent. But again, I wasn't crazy about the first one.
Oh, hey, Mega Geek.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right. I got your message late. That's the problem. So,
well, I sent it late, didn't I? Because I think I sent it today, like 4 hours before the show. So it's kind of my fault. Oh no, yeah. What are you gonna?
How are we all? Yes, fine.
Good. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I was working my ass off, but I'm free now to talk crap.
Were you making movies?
No, just doing the corporate jobs, which is shooting rubbish, shooting interviews and all that nonsense. So it's boring.
So, I was say, so not doing anything fun, but you get to be behind the camera.
Well, I am behind the camera. It's just boring. It's just
Yeah.
looking at someone talk about computers. Just boring. Such is life. So what are we talking about?
So right now we're talking about we just got off the Acolyte like 3 minutes
Thank God.
ago.
Thank God.
Yeah. So if you don't want to chime in, you don't have
No, no.
But we are talking about the Inside Out 2's strong box office.
Oh.
And
Uh,
I don't know. I was just really intrigued by the fact that this movie's going to cross $1 billion, and it kind of I'm seeing it talked about more now that it held so well in its second weekend. But it seems like people really will come out for things if there's something they want to watch.
Funny how that works, isn't it? When a film
Yeah.
completely bombs, and then the excuse is, "Oh, people are just out of the habit of going to see the cinema," and then a film does really well, and all of a sudden that excuse doesn't hold. Turns out people will still go even if they're out of the habit. But you have to give them something that doesn't suck balls, basically, in either sense of that term.
Also, the film has to be good as well. I'm assuming, Vex, you've seen it, and you think it's
Yeah.
good, or
I
no?
thought it was okay for a sequel. Like what I just told them is it's missing a lot of like the heavy emotional beats and the humor that the first one had, but it's a much smoother narrative that understands what it's doing. It also fails to balance out the emotions as well as the first one did, but it wasn't terrible. It
Right.
was a worthy sequel in my opinion.
Oh, okay. I might go and see it then.
Yeah, this was more relatable than the first one too, I feel. Cuz like the first one she was like their family had moved to a different state altogether and she was
Yeah.
not feeling like she was fitting in anywhere. So like the whole thing was she's running away from home. And I was like, well, not I mean, all of us, I'm sure at one point of another have thought about it, but we've never experienced it quite the same way. Whereas the second one, now it's like she's transitioning from grade school to high school and she's trying to like she's going through puberty at the same time, so it's trying to figure out like how high school is going to go and whether she's going to fit in. So the storyline feels a lot more relatable in this sequel on top of that. But it's not terrible.
Oh, good. She doesn't fancy a girl or anything like that, does she?
Oh no. I mean, she had a crush on the guy in the first one, and in the second one, which my favorite part of the second one was she had a crush on a video game character from her childhood that comes up as a repressed emotion. So she's definitely not gay.
Oh, good. Good. That's probably why it took a lot of money. They didn't put all that crap in it.
There's
So
no
that's
agenda. Yeah, no
That's
agenda
good.
whatsoever. It's just not as funny or heartfelt as a lot of other classic Pixar films.
I think I'll go and see it then.
I'm happy for Pixar that it's doing well because it just seems like Disney does not. They've used them as kind of a scapegoat. It feels like over the past few
Agreed.
years since the Disney Plus launch. I've bitched about it on a few streams before, but the fact that they've used Pixar movies, which have been basically bread and butter and guaranteed box office success, and almost it felt like almost a guaranteed like Oscar for best animated movie every year too. When Disney Plus launched, they just started stuffing that stuff onto their streaming platform to try and boost it, and then it would, if they did a simultaneous release, it would kind of fail at the box office. Yeah, Pixar deserves a win, so I'm happy that they.
Well, it's under Disney, isn't it?
Yeah, it's under Disney, but I mean, like, what are you gonna do?
They oust out who's the guy that ran Pixar? Lasseter. They kicked him out, didn't they? And now
several years ago.
Now he's forming his own company. I actually met Lasseter in Cannes. Must have been before the pandemic. God, it must have been over 20 years ago or something like that I met him in Cannes, and he gave me Ratatouille on DVD. Because it was a launch for Ratatouille. Yeah, so yeah, really nice guy. Had a long conversation with him sitting near the bar. I didn't know who he was at first. And he started talking. I was like, aren't you that guy that does Pixar? And he goes, yeah. So yeah. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced Cannes. Anyone? No,
I've never been. No.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I know you can hear me and you can probably see me. My computer froze. I have to restart
your
this.
picture froze.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
frozen,
All right, good. Yeah, I'll be right back then.
I was gonna say, little platoon, right? What's funny about when Vex was talking and I was looking at your avatar was opening his mouth, and I don't know what that thing's doing. What is it doing?
That's me yawning. It tracks mouth movements, and I'm really tired. So yeah,
right, okay.
Usually if I yawn and forget to cover my mouth, the avatar will also yawn.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's how it works then. I don't know I don't understand it. So basically, it scans your face or something like that. The computer.
Yeah, it's got the webcams on, and then it tracks various like movements. Like you can get way more complicated versions. This is quite a basic one, but like it tracks eyes, like eye movement, blinking, mouth movements, basic like body movements, but like nothing particularly like dramatic or anything like that. And then there's buttons that you can assign different movements to, but I always forget which buttons I've assigned things to, so I don't use them.
You can't put your hand down though.
I can. I just don't remember how. There's a button somewhere. The only one I remember is the quizzical eyebrow. That's the only one I can.
That's the only one you remember.
Yeah, the others, they'll do something else.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, what was the last film I saw? I want to go and see the Bad Boys film. A lot of people say that's good. Anyone seen that one?
I'm just not a fan of that franchise. No. That's all. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I want to go and see it. I'll probably catch it this week sometime. Apparently, it's meant to be really good.
That's what I've heard as well. Yeah, very good film. Yep.
I hear Will Smith gets slapped a lot. Apparently, they play on that. Well, I mean, that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but yeah, no, it's all good.
I'm looking forward to seeing Horizon this weekend.
Horizon, what's that?
The Kevin Costner Western film.
Oh, of course, part 1, right?
Yeah, part 1's out on the 28th, so I'm pretty excited to go see that on Saturday after work.
I do like Kevin Costner. I think Kevin Costner is a decent filmmaker, definitely a decent filmmaker, and he's a decent actor as well. But sometimes he can get lost up his own bottom, especially with what was that one? White Earp.
At the right time.
Oh, right. I don't know if you've seen White Earp, and then you look at Tombstone. Tombstone was a hell of a lot of fun. White Earp was so much up its own bum. It was absolutely ridiculous, I found. But I do like Kevin Costner. I think he's a very, very good filmmaker, and by all accounts, a nice guy apparently. So yeah,
that's what I've heard as well. Yeah,
no, definitely,
gentlemen.
Yeah,
there's a couple of those directors' sort of passion projects, the big epic passion projects, because you've got that. Then there's Megalopolis, that's coming out. Is that in November that's coming out?
I think so, yeah, or December, one or the other.
Distributors picked it up?
Someone picked it up, yep.
Wow. I heard it's really terrible.
I heard it's mostly terrible, but hey, at least he invested his own money in it.
Yeah, I had a friend that was at the premiere when they gave him a 20-minute standing ovation. And he said he said him and his friends were the only ones that didn't clap because they thought it was a terrible movie.
So are you just placating him?
Sorry, say again?
Like the crowd just decided to placate him?
Well, I don't. Again, right? If you've been to Cannes, you'd realize that the standing ovation thing is just
what
thing they do. It's just just what they do.
Gotcha.
It's not. But it's not particularly because the film's good. It's just I think they do that, like patting each other on the back and stuff. They did a 10-minute standing ovation. Was it 10-minute or 5-minute for the last Indiana Jones movie? And how bad was that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I remember seeing some people say like if it's a standing ovation at Cannes, it means it's probably bad.
Yeah,
something along those lines. Like when that movie dropped, yeah.
And they never start on time either because the actors are out. Because if you're just a pleb and you get a ticket to see a big movie, you go in there and the auditorium is really deep. If you're on the top and you look down, it's literally like you're gonna fall because it's very old cinema. And I heard that to get your film in the projection room, you have to go up. You have to go up some stairs, not normal stairs, but like stairs stuck on a wall. So you have to climb the stairs all the way up to the projection room to get your film in the projection room. That's how old the theater is. And also, as I said, the film always starts late because they're all panting outside, getting photographs and stuff like that. So when they say the film starts at 5 o'clock, it usually ends up starting at 8, if you know what I mean. So,
I thought you were going to say like 5:30.
No. Like 2. Like I went to see the one with the guy who plays Iron Man. Kiss Bang Bang, whatever it was. I don't know if you heard of that one. Before he became Iron Man, he was outside for like 2 hours before he came in the cinema before the film could start. Yeah, that's what they do in Cannes, man. Really.
I feel like that's a story that could be told at any Hollywood premiere.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I don't know, really. Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah.
We were wrong about the release date. Megalopolis actually comes out on my birthday this year.
IMAX
oh, right.
Yeah, likewise. They got a lot of applause. Oh, is Platoon the one who's dead now? Oh, no,
Wait, what?
back. Oh, I saw your Spiral.
Did I die?
No.
Oh, shit.
Oh, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my computer. Yeah, you were spiraling.
Think so,
yeah.
Oh.
He's
no. Megalopolis comes out on the 27th of September, apparently. So it's actually even earlier than we thought.
Oh, and that's your birthday, right?
It is, yeah. I don't think I'm going to be going to see it for my birthday because I don't care enough, but maybe I will.
What a way to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah.
Potential disaster.
So the next film I'm looking forward to is Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. That's the next one I'll probably go and see.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too because it has finished filming.
Yeah. Oh, has it?
It finished its post-production. So it's all
Okay.
ready to
Well,
rock and roll.
hopefully it'll be good. I don't know.
Am I the only one that just doesn't care about Deadpool? Like, I'm far more excited, like, about Horizon, Maxine, Despicable Me 4. Like, I'm more excited about those than I just don't care about
I'm interested
Deadpool.
to see how it does, but I didn't particularly like the first two, so I
Yeah, they
don't
were
really give a
fun
shit
for
about
what
them.
they were, but they weren't amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not a huge Deadpool fan. They got me immediately when they were bringing Logan in. So
Mhm.
and especially Hugh Jackman, because as much as I'm not a huge Deadpool fan. I thought the movies were fine, and if you are a Deadpool fan, I'm sure you loved that shit. But those two together is dynamite. Like in the comic books, it's always fun. So yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with Wolverine and just those two interact. But I really could probably care less about its total impact on the MCU because I think I'm just indifferent to what's happening with that at this point.
I'm not excited about these films, but I love going to the cinema. So I choose my films very carefully. So Deadpool and looks like a fair bet to go to the cinema and watch that. You know, there are a lot of films out in the cinema now, in fact, but I just don't. I want to see something that I know at least I can enjoy. Do you know what I mean? So
Despicable Me 4.
and I'm going to go and see that, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go and see that, definitely. What's that? So there's that one. They don't do Christmas films anymore. You know, like a special film for Christmas.
They did last, or not? Was it last year? It was the one where Santa beat the shit or killed all of these people that were like
Violent
breaking into the
Night.
house. Yeah, Violent
Night.
Yeah.
Silent Night. Silent Night.
That was was it Silent Night?
Yeah.
I think it was
Joel
Violent
Kinnaman,
Night.
right?
I think it might have been Violent Night.
No. Yeah, you're talking about that one by John Woo. John Woo directed that one.
Yeah,
right?
the John Woo one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Violent Night.
Okay.
The dude from Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah, he played.
Yeah, David Harbour.
Oh, that other one. Okay.
Yes. And John Leguizamo was in it too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun. So to answer your question, yes, they do still make Hollywood movies sometimes, and one's up our alley because that was I don't know. I could see that. I would rewatch that during Christmas.
So
fun.
you guys must have heard of that undercover thing with Disney, right? Or did you speak about that already?
Oh yeah, we talked about it a little bit already. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think it's bad that they set this guy up through a dating app?
Is that I didn't watch the first part, but like I saw just kind of like the rundown. I was like, oh, we already knew all of this shit. No one should be really surprised by this anymore. But is that how they met him? Like they set up a date?
Yeah,
it's usually how they do it, isn't it? For James, like quite often, if it's a male person that they're doing a sting operation on, they send basically a woman who has tits to pose as a person who's actually interested in what a middle management person in corporate has to say. And obviously, not many women are interested in what those people have to say. So immediately, they sort of just spill the beans. I don't really care, to be honest. Dating apps, no dating apps.
Kitty.
Hello, cat.
It's Jub.
Is it true that he answered like Tinder or whatever it was, and the girl got talking to him, and then he went? It was two girls, wasn't it? And he went on a date with both of them, and they got the information. What you see on the video is what they got out of him. Is that true?
I have no idea. I haven't talked to him recently.
No,
I'm gonna let the cat out. Hang on.
All right. I mean, the question was it fair on that guy? Because it was obviously a sting, right? So, what do you guys think of that?
He chose to spill the beans, right? So it's all on him. All's fair in love and war.
Okay, all right. Yeah, oh, I
It's also
guess.
the other side of the motive is that it is exposing potentially illegal activity. But I stress the word potentially there because actually it's quite easy to keep this sort of thing within the law. But he himself said, it wouldn't be surprised if there were some sort of lawsuit to come eventually because of the practices that he's describing. So I think it's fair. It's grubby, but that's the world that they in particular live in, right? I mean, he's a high-paid executive at a pretty disreputable company, which is doing pretty disreputable things that people probably would need to know about or want to know about because people don't tend to like things like racism in hiring practices, which is what it's exposing. If you're the kind of sad sap who uses dating apps and is willing to like open up to that degree about something so private on your first date to impress a woman, then you pretty much deserve whatever you get coming, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I guess. As I said, I think I don't know. On one hand, I do feel sorry for him. On the second hand, I feel that it is important to get that information, especially hearing it from a Disney employee that they're actually doing that. But then again, it's nothing special because I've said this in other podcasts as well. When I was in my 20s and my late 20s, I'm going up for work and stuff. I remember I went up for 6 jobs at the BBC because it was my dream to work for the BBC, and kept getting rejections. Went to meetings or went to an audition, not audition. Went to a meeting about a job. They seemed to like me, then I wouldn't get the job. And I remember my friend that was working there, he said to me, Ian, he said, you're never going to get a job there. And I said, why? He says, because they're racists. And I said, what, the BBC? And he said, yes. And I said, well, how could you come to that conclusion? He says, because I know what they do. They put put an advert out in the newspaper saying that they're looking for, people of color, whatever, but they already have the person for that job. They just had to do it because that is part of the rules at the BBC and the the kind of law. They have to do that. So it was happening ages ago. It's not. It's it's just the BBC now, and Disney has taken it to a level that's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So
No, makes sense.
yeah.
It's also that it's morphed so overtly from we need to elevate underrepresented groups to we need to fuck over white people. Now, technically, it's always kind of meant the same thing, but positive discrimination is much more popular than negative discrimination is. If you tell people we are going to like boost the employment prospects of black people and minorities because they don't get enough jobs, most people support that. If you tell people we are going to deliberately not hire any more white people don't tend to like that. But it means the same thing. It just depends on how you frame the question, because a lot of people, probably the majority of the population, doesn't know how to discriminate properly. So it's just that's kind of depressing in its own right that the same issue gets markedly different responses depending on purely how you word it. Either you're in favor of race in hiring or not. That's as simple as it is. Lots of people seem to be in favor of it. Fuck them.
Yeah. It's interesting. Well, they actually, the guy actually said, they wanted to hire this guy that was so quoted half black, but he wasn't black enough, so he wouldn't get the job. That's just crazy, right? Absolutely batshit mental. And they could be sued for that, right? Isn't there a law against that?
Well, yeah,
that's
yes. He did speak in that they use certain code and blah blah blah. But he speculated that eventually at some point probably lawsuits would be income.
It sort of depends, like again, the wording that they use and how it actually works in practice, and also what state you're considering it in. Because ironically, the wokest of the woke of all states is California, where this is the least legal practice you can do. California is one of the few states that actually did overtly outlaw precisely this sort of thing. And they never really got away with it. They never changed that law, from what I understand, either. So depending on where like a lawsuit would be brought, they could be in trouble, but it would depend on what their internal justification is, because you can find like legalese ways around it. If you say we're not discriminating against white people, here we have a proven underrepresentation of Hispanics in this particular department, and all we are doing is trying to get to a more equitable situation by elevating minority candidates up. That's not always illegal, depending on where you are. So it'll be interesting to see. I would like to see someone try and bring a lawsuit about it. I think that would be helpful and clarifying. But I have a nasty feeling if it did happen, they would find a way around it, because it's all quite corrupt these days.
Yeah. It is, isn't it?
And it seems to be something everyone is doing.
Hmm.
Well, and what's this DEI thing? What is that? Somebody explain that to me, because I've never understood. Is that like someone that gives money to organizations that do
What do
box
you mean?
ticking?
Explain the DEI thing.
Yeah, what is it? What does DEI stand for?
Diversity, equity, and
and
inclusion.
Oh wow. So the DEI, because like a lot of they say a lot of shows are financed by the DEI.
No, so
No?
those are essentially like practices that big time investors expect companies like Disney to follow in order for them to get their investment money. Like to break it down, essentially, like so an ESG score and a DEI, those acronyms are like inexorably connected because there are certain things that companies have to follow to meet their investors requirements, which are these massive, like their primary investor, Disney, for example, is BlackRock. And then I think it has it's a large percentage of what they own in Disney. It's like 7%, but then there are these two other ones that own large percentage ones too. But guess who owns those two? BlackRock. It's amazing. Like they own, if BlackRock owns 7% and State Street owns like 3 or 4, and then Vanguard owns like 5. Well, it's really BlackRock that owns it all.
I had to
And
work with all of these people. It's like the most soul crushing thing is when you like as a journalist and they come to you and they say, "Hey, we've just launched a brand new ESG fund. It's amazing. You should write positively about it." And I'm sitting there thinking, no, you're just lying to people. This is horrible. This is really, really shitty practices. And the way that they embed it by stealth, which is the thing that never really gets talked about either. The general like breakdown is DEI is internal corporate practice. So that will be any company decision which says, like the one we're just talking about, DEI would be, we want to hire more Black people to increase minority representation on staff. That, the external side of things, is ESG. ESG is the investment side. You will have a higher social score in ESG and probably a higher governance score as well if you can prove that you have embedded DEI practices in every level of your workplace. And so ESG funds, or even, and this is the bit that no one ever really speaks about, the default funds of, for example, pension schemes, which have been put into an ESG sort of glide path, that will get you way more money into your company almost by default, because you can turn to an investor and say, hey, our ESG score is great because we've got so much DEI. So very few people really understand what goes on because it's acronyms and they're boring, and it's also finance and investment, and those are boring. But a lot of the thing is that no one actually even tells the people whose money it is what the money is being used for. And default funds in particular are insidious for this, because for all you know, most people don't bother checking their pension statements, for example. For all you know, your pension statement and your pension default fund, the money that automatically goes to that investment path, has been moved over to an ESG fund by default, even if you disagree with it. And if you read the statement, you'd probably know, but no one reads the statements because they're long and they're boring. And pensions have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of capital basically set aside for investment. They're incredibly useful as investment vehicles like that. But the whole ESG agenda basically relies on people not being told what their money is going to. And the more ESG expands to include very, very divisive political subjects, like, for example, divesting in Israel, or pushing racist agendas or trans agendas, whatever you want to, like any political thing that you have an opinion on, can now be argued to include an ESG component to it. And your money may be being put to those things even if you disagree with them, which is the most dishonest thing. And it's the most frustrating thing as well when you sit there having to report on it as a journalist, because not enough people are reporting on it in that way as journalists. And I think it's probably quite important that more journalists do be honest about the things that they are effectively selling.
So hold on. So I'm confused, right? So BlackRock gives all this money for the box being ticked, right? Is that right? To Disney, like to any company that wants to. Aren't they concerned about how this thing that they want in our entertainment, how it's being done, how it's being created, if it's fair, if it isn't fair? Aren't they concerned about that?
No.
But lots of these things aren't concerned with fairness. I mean, that's one of the things about ESG is that it's actually almost impossible to define, for instance, what the S in ESG really means. It stands for environmental, social, and governance. And you can think, well, okay, I can measure environment relatively easily. And it's relatively easy as well to measure what good governance practice is because you can benchmark that against company performance and things. Social just means whatever the most important political faction happens to say is socially responsible. So there's a weird thing that in the earlier days of ESG, when tech companies which employ fewer people, in other words, creating more unemployment, are seen as a better social good than a company that employs loads more people, because by virtue of employing fewer people, it will have fewer, say, sexual harassment allegations amongst its staff. There'll be less social strife amongst its staff. So a company which creates more unemployment is a better social good than a company that employs people, because that's just how the S and ESG is measured. Fairness doesn't really come into it. It's all about how you can lobby an investment firm to say that this is a politically popular thing. And then the investment firm will turn to its portfolio holders and say, hey, we've created a brand new bespoke metric that shows ESG funds outperform non-ESG funds. It's actually a complete load of lies. It just takes 6 or 7 years for the lie to become public. So now we're finally starting to see that it was a misselling, basically. But for 6 or 7 years, people were going in thinking, hey, I want to be socially responsible, and apparently this will make me even more money. So I'll put my money into this ESG fund. And it's just basically a fortress built on sand, but it's been the default in investment for a good few years at this point.
And I believe it was, I think it was the CEO of BlackRock. It's in, I put the clip in one of my videos anyway, but one of them was giving, or they were being interviewed by the New York Times, and they said, this is where they think the wind's blowing. So they will force company behavior if they have to, like the company that they're, that wants their investments either going to comply or they will make them comply.
I'm confused, right? So if they are investing so much and he says that, isn't he concerned about the people that are actually driving this thing? Again, I don't really understand Little Platoon's answer just now. It's totally confusing. But wouldn't you be like, if you were investing in something, wouldn't you be concerned about your investment being used properly?
Most people just want to make money. And if they are told that the money that they put into a particular fund will make better returns, that's all they're really interested in. And that's investors. Normal people whose money go into, say, pension funds and things like that don't even really pay attention to that. All they want to know is that when they retire, they will have enough money to live on. And they don't ask too many questions about what the money is being used for. The only people who tend to ask the questions you're raising there tend to be politically activist people who want more ESG, not less. So I guess the short answer is no, people generally don't care.
Wow.
I also say those companies are worth so much money combined that they just want what they want. That's what they want. So that's what they're going to get.
The money isn't really a concern at the end.
They are worth so much fucking money. So in essence, like that comment was essentially correct. Like they want power. It's, it's about doing what they want.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's conspiratorial or anything. It's just like when you, I don't know, point it out objectively. It's not hard to follow breadcrumbs.
Conspiracy sort of, I mean, conspiracy sort of suggests that they are keener to hide it than they really are. Actually,
but
lots of these people are very open about it. Mark Carney was the formerly head of the Bank of England and was one of the first people to really drive ESG for global financial markets, because he very publicly stated and was very honest about his beliefs, and he's allowed to hold those beliefs, that he felt that there's a huge amount of untapped economic potential in people's investment funds that should be put to good, what he conceives of as being good. Environmental protection is one of them. Improving social, whatever the fuck it means, is another one. He's being very honest about it, but unfortunately the actual mechanics rely on people's apathy and ignorance. So he's not lying, he's just trusting you not to pay too much attention.
We're in trouble.
Indeed, right? I know. And I mean, there are so many great videos. I think Before You Sleep has done a video on them about BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, and how they are invested in just like every company. It feels like every other company in the world. Like they just have their fingers so deep.
Right?
What's that?
Isn't that against the law to monopolize a certain section? I thought that was against the law.
Like, I don't know shit. I don't know shit about that. What's fascinating to me is these companies are barely my age. Like I think BlackRock started in the mid 80s, which is just astonishing.
I'm totally confused now. I just totally confused. I just don't understand the logic behind any of this at all.
Okay, I'll simplify this even further for you, okay?
Go on in.
There are companies that have basically a bottomless pit of money, and it no longer is about what can generate the money because they have so much invested elsewhere. It's more, how am I able to control? And the easiest way to control is to implement an ideology that will spread like wildfire. And that in turn feeds all of the things that they want. So the money is not the concern. And all of
Yes,
these
that's your problem right there, Mega. You're looking for logic.
Okay. No, I understand, definitely understand that, but you know, if me and you, and let's face it, we're the lowest. If we know what's going on, how comes nobody's doing anything about it or trying? Well, I guess they are people on YouTube that's voicing it, but I mean, real people with real power, right? How comes nobody's trying to fight against
because
this
they're all
nonsense?
getting a paycheck out of it. So those lower end people that are perhaps running Disney or something like that, they're getting a fat paycheck out of it, which is ultimately all they want. Their puppet handlers want something else. So they've even sold themselves out. And the people that do try to speak out are the ones that get blacklisted or the ones that get fired from projects or the ones that people call fucking crazy and stuff like that. They're immediately ostracized. So, and this has been a thing that it's not been just like, oh, it suddenly happened. This is something that's just been going on in entertainment for decades, for basically since its inception.
But the problem is, it is an incredibly long-term project anyway. All investment things, and especially investments involving pensions, are always very long-term. People become aware of things when they immediately see consequences, but you don't immediately see consequences for a lot of these things. It takes a long time for the long-term ramifications of particular financial decisions to actually be reflected. So if you take a pension example again, let's say you've been saving since you were 25 into a pension and you get to 65. Well, actually, to be honest, it's going to be nearer 70, isn't it? By the time most of us actually retire, if we ever do, you get to 70. So it's decades later. And then you look at your statement and the amount of money getting in, and that's assuming you know how much you should be getting. And you see, oh, that's a bit lower than I was expecting it to be. Why is that? And it turns out that's because loads of your pension money went to fund fucking useless windmills back in 2025. Then you might start to be slightly annoyed about it. But until that point, you don't have any real direct relationship between where your money is going and what you're going to get back. So people won't know about it until it really hits them. And it's not going to hit them for a while. It's different in Hollywood because like some of these investors will start to notice, and probably already are, that they are not getting money back on their investments in Disney, for example. And that's when you will start to see a shift back toward money-making films. Inside Out 2 sounds like it might be a really good barometer of that. And something maybe even instigate that because, hey, we seem to be losing all of this money on Star Wars, but this little cartoon thing came out and it's just made $1 billion. Why can't we have more of that? But that will still take time as well because lots of these companies are also prepared to take a minor loss on profit just to spread what they conceive of as being a profitable, an ethically profitable venture. So they are prepared to spend a bit of money on being nice because that's reputationally good for them. It's when they lose loads of money for a long time that they don't like it.
It all sounds very complicated to me. It used to be really simple. You make a film, people give you money, you make a film, it goes into cinema, makes money, then you make another one, then you make another one. If it fails, you don't make another one. So it's just
that was when you were just dealing with the pedos and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. Yes.
Really,
Yeah,
it all went downhill when Harvey Weinstein stopped being employed. I think we need him back.
Look at that.
But I mean, I mean, Harvey Weinstein is just one cog, isn't it? I mean, there were a lot of producers that were literally doing what he did, and then there were a lot of actresses that played the game as well. You know,
It's been a long time. It's been a thing that's been going on forever. It's just only in recent years are we becoming a little bit more aware with things like Harvey Weinstein and what's his face. Oh my God.
Well, you removed the Baron, and now you have the real evil villain. The actual empire behind the empire.
Yeah. Just, I know. I remember Joan Collins talking about it. She said that when she was young, she had a audition, and she went to this guy's hotel, and he was in the bathtub. He said he asked her to join him in the bathtub for the audition, and she just said no, and she left the room. So that's coming straight from Joan Collins. So it's been around for a very long time, all of this stuff. It's not like it's new or anything. Yeah, it's not like it's new or anything, but
Well, it goes back to the James O'Keefe thing, right? I mean, that woman was using sexuality to get a story. Technically, she was exploiting her sexuality for her job. It's not like this is a new thing that women do. Women do it all the time. It's obviously wrong to exploit that to the extent Harvey Weinstein did, but I think that was the Me Too problem, is being massively naive about what people are prepared to do and were happy to do at the time they did it, until they decided they might profit more from deciding they were unhappy with it after all.
I don't know. It's very weird. This world's weird.
Well said. What a surprise. Something Platoon said was well said. Let me go through some of these super chats if you guys don't mind.
Go on.
Castle Dracula is a brand new member. So congrats and thank you. Platoon thanks you. It's his fucking channel.
Oh, fuck yeah. Sorry, yeah. Thank you very much.
I'm just the co-host around here. Professor R2, member for 13 months, and also last week's guest. Headland has been creeping on her since she was 13. I don't know who.
Yeah, the girl,
Amanda Stenberg.
Yes, her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She
did. She got women for Harvey, so only makes sense she'd get them for her as well.
Yeah. Block Boy Games for an ass $5. Here is Star Wars True Endgame. The Emperor is going to be revealed to be a stunning, brave female, and her real name is Palpatine.
I wouldn't be surprised. My God, the Acolyte was just ridiculous. After the third episode, I was out. I just thought, this is just ridiculous.
Well, it didn't get better.
No. Well, I only didn't. I stopped at 3. Was it 3 where they started singing "We Are the Power of One"?
Yeah, that was 3.
Yeah, that's the one.
Goodness, that one.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Russman with an awesome avatar for $20. Thank you. Mandela Stenberg makes a common mistake of the affluent. She thinks because she's traveled the world, she knows the world. Those are two different things. And
has she even traveled the world though?
Well, maybe like on her fucking
her father's dime.
Vacations where she goes and stays in fucking resorts and shit wherever she goes.
It is a well-known thing, right? There was that. So I haven't watched The Simpsons for a long time since it became shit. But there was a clip that was doing the rounds a while ago when there's a song in like a recent Simpsons episode called, I think it's called Little EU or something. And it's just outright propaganda for effectively European style social welfare state. And it's not even trying to be funny either. It's just, we get to have free everything, and travel is great, and the trains are lovely, and everything is cheap, and everyone's happy. It's like, you've clearly been there on like a gap year, which your parents funded, and now you've taken it back, and now you're telling Americans this is absolutely the way Europe is. Stop it. Try like living there for a bit first.
I find celebrities that try and give wisdom, I find it really cringy. You know, I mean, this girl.
Yes.
Yeah, back. Yeah. Did she not make a rap song or something like that?
Yeah. Oh man,
we've done that.
You missed the Acolyte section, Mega Geek, because we definitely broke that down.
Platoon did it without money. He just free of charge.
Unbidden. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I didn't. I forgot people used to pay me to do that shit. I should have waited. Damn it.
Seriously, there's nothing to watch. I watched. What did I watch today? Right, because I stopped editing, so I shot something in the morning, came home, then I had to edit it, and then I stopped editing because I was so bored. And I watched this film with Harrison Ford and Christian Scott Thomas. It's an old film, and it was so crap. What was it called?
I can't wait to find out.
It was directed by the guy who directed Tootsie. I don't know if you remember that film, Tootsie.
I remember Tootsie, but I don't know who made it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. What was it called? So I wonder if I've got history. You haven't got no bloody history on this thing, have you?
Quick, everyone, let's share the screen so we can see Mega Geek's internet search history live.
No, I'm on Netflix, and it's not showing me what usually shows you what's on, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you've seen usually, but it's not doing it now. I can't remember what it was called. but it had Kristen Scott Thomas from she was in Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Oh yeah,
And
I think I know which one she is.
And Harrison Ford was in. He plays a cop, and him and his wife and Kristen Scott Thomas's husband was on a plane, and it crashed, and they found out that they were having an affair.
Oh.
It was really dull. It was really, and also the quality of the film was really awful as well. I don't know what Netflix is doing.
Just
I mean, it
pumping
seems
out
very
content
compressed.
for the sake of having content. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I imagine it's cheap to get, and they'll get some people watching it. Probably it's got Harrison Ford in it, so
yeah. I see Eddie Murphy's doing the rounds for Axel Foley. What is it? Number 4? Is it Beverly Hills
Or
Cop
5?
number 4? Is it 5 or 4? I think it's 4.
They're not even calling it by a number though, right? They're just calling it like Beverly Hills Cop and then his
Axel
name.
Foley, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm thinking of Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon 5 we're on 5 for that one. There we go.
I'm definitely going to see that.
Oh, me
I've
too.
got to
100%.
see that. I've got to see that Lethal Weapon film.
Speaking of things that are out and that people might have seen, I might be the only one who's seen this. So it's come up in chat a couple of times. Is anybody keeping up with House of the Dragon?
Nope.
No.
No. Okay.
I never watched one fucking second of that.
You should.
Anything related to. Well, I only the only reason, and I'll tell you, is just because it really was one of those things where everyone's talking about it. I'm like, you motherfuckers, I'm going to give you 15 years and then I'm going to come back and talk to you I'm going to watch one episode a week for like 6 years. And then I'm going to come back and tell you all about it, just like you guys do me.
I can understand like waiting till it's completely finished because of what happened with Game of Thrones, because it could be really good for multiple seasons and then completely shit the bed. So like waiting makes a bit of sense. Yeah, no, it's worth it. Honestly, I'd recommend season 1 is really, really good. Season 2 hasn't really gripped me yet, but maybe it'll get there. But if nobody else has seen it, I guess we can move on.
I heard that The Boys has gone completely woke now.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up The Boys too because Vex has seen it.
Has anyone else seen it?
No, because you told me it was woke, and I'm just trying to stay clear from. I heard you told me Frenchie has gone gay or something like that because it didn't make any sense.
Someone told me, which is a detail that I don't remember at all from the first season. Yeah. Apparently, Frenchie was in like a polyamorous relationship with a guy and a girl in the first season.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that detail either because they only showed the one chick that he was hooking up with all the time. Yeah. And then they broke up, and he and the Japanese chick, I can't remember her name.
Yes.
They started like it wasn't so much it was implied that it was going to become a romantic relationship, but instead they just kind of like trauma bonded almost, and it became like this really intimate, non-romantic, interdependent relationship. And they just kind of ran with that throughout seasons 2 and seasons 3. And then randomly when season 4 came out, they dropped, I think it was the first 3 episodes all together at once. All of a sudden they're on a stakeout with Mother's Milk, the black dude.
Mother's Milk.
Yeah, they're on a stakeout with him, and then they're just like him and the Japanese chick are just like signing in the back of the truck, and she's like, nothing will ever happen between us, so go for it. And then it turns out that he's now involved with a black gay activist who's really against what Vought is doing. It's okay. Maybe this will be a hot take. I don't know. So I haven't read the source material. I understand that the source material is already very politically influenced, specifically like by the Bush era politics and whatnot. That's fine. I think season 1 walked a pretty decent line of.
It did.
This is political satire of both sides, but we understand that we're trying to create something that is entertainment at the end of the day, not for a message. Then season 2, it started to transition away from that, where they were no longer doing satire and things were far too much on the nose. Season 3 continues that. And now season 4, it's just like, it's almost scarily like aware of itself, and it's no longer entertaining because now it's no longer walking that satire line. It's like, I'm clearly left leaning. I'm going to show that to you through all of the storylines, through all of the character development. And it seems to even have forgotten some of the things that it did in the previous season already, which kind of sucks. Like Butcher was basically dying in the last episode.
Yeah,
of season
he was.
3.
Yes.
And now the 4th episode came out. I haven't watched it. I didn't care. I was so bored watching season 4. But now he's just like totally fine. Like he's not hacking up blood or anything. He was caught, like he was keeled over coughing at one point, and that's it. Otherwise, he's completely fine. Homelander is kind of like, you know how they were running with that store, like I guess we'll say Democrats would just say, oh, like Trump just needs some love and he'll be okay. And now they're back to that whole like, a Homelander just needs some love and he'll be okay. And it very much feels like they're just poking at the orange man bad kind of humor. It's, I don't know. It doesn't feel like anything has happened. Like they're trying to shock me, but it never feels like anything is happening so far. I'm bored. And then the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in a television show happened, I think, in episode 2, around the 20-minute mark. And I don't want to see what else they're going to do now the rest of the season. It disturbed me to my core, and I have a pretty solid core.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about this. Like, I haven't watched it because I haven't watched any of The Boys. It never really interested me, but it was always suggested. So what I've seen is the discourse with season 4 so far. Like I saw Drinker dropped a video on it. I haven't watched it. But I haven't watched the show, so I wasn't gonna watch the video. But I was gonna ask about this, which is essentially I remember for the first 3 seasons, there was some contention about where the satire was going, who necessarily it was mocking. And I was recommended to watch the show. And now some of the, I don't know, I guess you could say some of the arguments against that is like, you know, it's always been left leaning. Like you were just, I saw someone be like, you were just too stupid to realize it.
Yeah, you may be right.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
And I've seen all of The Boys, but it has been a long time, so like I'd be missing some details. I think it's always been quite clearly left leaning in its satire, but at least in season 1, it was willing to take shots at both sides, and it was still entertaining, which is the ultimate rule. I actually think it sort of reflects quite well on the original audience for the show, because you keep being told how sensitive like anti-woke types are, but actually, if anything, The Boys proves that you're willing to put up with some pretty lefty satire so long as it is funny, so long as it's not preachy, and so long as it works within the context of the story that you're telling. And that's always been the case. There's plenty of very left-wing people who I think are amazing artists and writers, and same thing with right-wing people. As long as what they're doing is servicing the story, it doesn't really matter. It seems to have become far too, I guess, well, the shock value thing is another part, because like, when it starts leaning on that too heavily, as it increasingly does, you start to think, well, does that mean you've maybe run out of other ideas and you're now just going in for like puerile humor? And it also seems to then have forgotten how to do subtlety at all. And it seems to be way less interested in making satire work fictionally and just now about, hey, let's just, you know, we're annoyed that people aren't angry enough about this show and we don't have anything else to set it on. So let's just tell people overtly that we hate the right. And then people will be angry and talking about it again. Which is a sad end for something that I think started pretty promisingly, but wasn't entirely unpredictable.
Sounds like a bummer. It sounds like I should only watch season 1 then.
That seriously, that's all you should watch. Season 1 was great. Season 2 was a bit iffy.
I think a lot of people thought that season 2 was still fine, but that's where it really did. You could see the cracks in the narrative, that they were trying to spread this out a little bit thin. By season 3, when they introduced Soldier Boy, who, spoiler alert, is Homelander's dad, right? That could have been a very interesting arc, but for most of that season, they subdue him. Then they basically put him on ice at the end of the season to bring him back later on, which was really disappointing. So it seems to be stepping on its own feet at the same time, because it is a good concept at the end of the day. The cast is really good too. I like the performances, but it's lost the plot.
I don't trust anything these days. I really don't.
No, I mean, eventually, you know, it goes left wing over time. Most things do, but it's a shame because I think season 1, even season 3, my vague, I don't remember much of it. This could be completely wrong. My impression of season 3 is that it was less bad in this regard than season 2 was. It was still pretty overtly biased, but it wasn't as schlocky as season 2. But season 1 sort of showed that there were, you know, ways to do political satire that could actually get some sort of universal agreement. One of the things that I think made it quite strong is that people on the far left tend to have very similar critiques of, say, corporate culture as people on the right do. Everyone knows that business people, HR, corporations are dishonest in their messaging. And so it could take a fairly left-wing stance on social justice issues, but it could criticize corporations for not taking those things seriously. And the right already believes that corporations don't believe that woke capitalism is a genuine movement anyway. So you had people on the left and the right basically agreeing with it, but for different reasons. So there was a kind of a universal appeal to what it was doing. And I liked that. And you could have carried that on, because you should be able to do that. If you're very far on the left, I used to be, or if you're very far on the right, you should still be able to unite behind people who are just telling you things because they think you want to hear it, are dishonest, and you shouldn't like them. Corporations are obviously lying to you. They are trying to get with a woke bug, and that's dishonest, and it doesn't serve anybody's good. Like, there are so many universal satirical lines you could still take, and they've given up on that by the sounds of things.
Yes, they have 100%.
You can't trust any new shows anymore. You can't. I mean, seriously, Resident Alien, the first season I loved. I thought it was funny. I was cracking up laughing, loved it. Season 2, second episode, completely woke. And I was just sad that I can't watch that anymore. And it's the same thing with a lot of shows I've been watching recently. It's just sad that that's more important than storytelling. You know, the thing is, though, I've said this before, you know, it could work. They could have their cake and eat it. If they do it properly. But once they start shoving it in you, once they start shoving it in your face, it's not. It's bad. Do you know what I mean? The story doesn't work. The whole thing falls apart. You know, you know, making Frenchie gay, which he wasn't really, because you can see that romance between him and I can't remember.
And for 3 seasons we saw it, so that's why it was so random to suddenly have him just in a. And it's the choice of who they make gay on top of that, which like it had me laugh. There's a lot of activist subplot in this 4th season so far, but I did see a rumor that apparently Jared Padalecki is in talks to come on for season 5, and I'm like, fuck me, now I have to keep watching the show.
God, that's how they keep you hooked, huh?
Well, I love Supernatural, right? And that's how I came to know who Eric Kripke was, like 20 years ago almost now. So to see, and I've just to see so many like Supernatural alums show up in the show so far, like just like that's what's kept me watching more than anything. Because like, I've met this guy at a convention. He was chill. Oh, that's a funny little. So I might have to keep watching.
It is, you know, the first season was memorable for the incredible violence it had in it. Let's face it. I mean, the first scene you see with was it Huey? Is it Huey? His girlfriend gets trashed by that guy who can run really fast, isn't he? He's holding, suddenly she doesn't exist anymore. You know, that was quite shocking. You know, it started off being shocking, and the whole season 1 was very, very entertaining. And then you notice little things in season 2. Huey's character had changed slightly, you know, becoming a bit more, I don't know, cowardish. I don't know.
He's just a
you know
pussy
what I mean?
now. And then Starlight takes, like, she wears the pants in the relationship, but even she doesn't quite know what she wants, which I saw someone ask, like, how's she looking in season 4? We've known for 2 seasons that she's had work done. Like, if the whole drama with her last year didn't tell you that, like, just the jump from season 1 to 2, or sorry, 1 to 3, you can see that she's gotten fillers done on her lips. She's had Botox injections in her forehead and under eyes. Now she just looks pretty gaunt. Like, she just looks a little bit too thin in season 4 so far.
It's incredible, isn't it? I was talking to one of my friends who runs the local Cineworld where I live. He's like assistant manager or something like that. And he was saying the film that got the most bums in seats recently was Star Trek 3. The 40th anniversary of Star Trek 3.
Really?
Yeah, and all, you know, and Asian movies. I know in America you think Asian you see as kind of Chinese kind of looking, but over here when we say Asian it means Indian, as in Indian movies like RRR and stuff like that. Those films are making a crap load of money in the local Cineworld because there's a huge community out there and they come to see those films. Nothing else is making money like what is it, the one you just mentioned, was it the Pixar movie that's doing Inside Out, but that's not doing as good as some of those Indian films.
That's fascinating.
It is. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Cineworld is going out the way to put other things in the cinema other
Mhm.
than the blockbuster movies. They've got, you can go and see a ballet being broadcast live in Cineworld now. So they're looking for other avenues to
Taylor
make
Swift
money.
concerts as well.
Yep,
And
yep,
they'll,
yep,
they'll put
yep.
the huge amounts of money in. But
Yeah,
and then on the other hand, you've got, let's put the finale of Doctor Who in the cinema.
Oh,
Like, it would
yes.
literally make you more money if you just closed the cinema for a day. Why are you doing that?
There was 5 people turned up for that
That's
screening.
so
Apparently,
nuts.
according to my friend, 5 people.
Yeah.
It was a 102 seater. It was one of the smallest cinemas they had, and only 5 people turned up for it.
Amazing.
So there you go. There you go. Quite shocking, to tell you the truth. But yeah, old films. People go see old films.
Well, speaking of films and an upcoming one, I did want to mention this. This is the new Superman outfits.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What?
Yeah, I just want to know what you all thought. Just released earlier this afternoon. Some set photos. This is not the only one, but this is probably the best.
Why? This gets me so annoyed. Why?
So-
what's your problem? First, of
My
all,
problem
let's
is
hear it.
my problem is the S looks stupid.
Okay.
Why has he got scales on his freaking costume? What, he can't go to the gym and create his own muscles?
It does look like it doesn't fit him.
Doesn't, yeah.
I wonder if they'll do the Spider-Man, like with the Spider-Man suit. They use CGI to tighten the suit up on the
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So this is more comfortable for him to film in, and then in post-production they'll edit it so it's fitter. But I'm more concerned about the underpants. Do you guys remember what Mermaid Man looks like from
Dude,
SpongeBob?
I was a huge advocate to just like, I'm not invested in DC characters except Batman, and they were smart with Batman since the 80s. Don't put the fucking underwear on him. And
But the nipples were okay, right?
well, no, that's where the franchise crashed. Don't put fucking underwear on him, and don't put nipples on him.
But right, I must correct you there. Right, those films, apart from Batman and Robin, made a crap load of money.
That's what I know.
It was a huge hit.
They were smart off the bat. Don't put underwear on Batman. It makes him not look cool.
But Superman's different. Listen, I don't understand why they just don't stick to the traditional Superman costume and get that guy to go to the gym, get some real muscles, and make him look like Superman. I don't know what this is.
He looks like Henry Cavill anyway before he lost his fucking hair. He looks like the same person.
He's been bulking up for about a year, though, which is the weird part.
He is
what is
big.
he bulking up for?
Like, clearly he has like size on him, but the thing is, like, okay, this is a New 52 costume, and by New 52, they rebooted DC in like 2011, the comic books, and gave it kind of an updated. Everything had to look cool. So, like the costume, the neck piece, and all this is new, but in those comics too was the first time they ever removed the underwear on the outside. And it's not, I know it's not underwear, but it is. And so this is like a weird combination. It is the New 52 outfit, yet it contains the underwear of the past. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I really don't think anything Superman will work for me, so I'm just biased. But
that doesn't look like an S on his chest. It's just like a strip. It's just ridiculous. Why can't they just go back to the original costume? Forget about the 52 thing. Make Superman. Superman's not hard to do. He isn't. It's not that hard to do, man. I don't understand what the problem is here.
Yeah, that might be it. Honestly, he didn't do HGH. This is, and honestly, guys, like for the health of people, I just hope that stops at some point. The muscle bound, that everyone has to look like Thor is fucking ridiculous. Because you want to talk about health standards that are poor, making every Hollywood actor go through fucking HGH and steroid cycles that's going to take years off their life is also not good. So like Robert Pattinson refusing to take anything for the Batman, like I appreciated that. I like that. So I appreciate if he doesn't do it either. Like I also appreciate the unbelievable amount of work and dedication it requires to do that kind of stuff. I just don't think anyone should have to put themselves through it if they don't want to.
Well,
Did
see,
Cavill go through the roids? Because I don't see the
Oh, dude,
fake-
have you ever fucking? Do you think an actual human being can really look like that?
Yes, I
Would
do.
no,
He can. He can.
no,
Yes,
it's
it's
fucking
possible for him.
impossible.
For him, it is.
He was on HGH and steroids. I fucking promise you. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, in essence. But
His
I'm
gym
just saying,
shorts
like,
say otherwise. Okay,
there's
I
no
don't believe
way
it.
that he wasn't on anything. That's absolutely impossible to look
No,
like that.
but seriously, guys, look at that costume. You can't tell me that costume is better than the one Chris Reeves wore. You can't tell me that at all. You can't even tell me that costume is better than the one that Henry Cavill wore. It's horrible.
No,
Yeah.
it's I liked Kevill's better, I think, in the end, even though it was a Snyder outfit, just because
Agreed.
of the underwear being removed, honestly.
And it
I
looked
don't mind
clean.
the
It looked
underwear.
Yeah, it
sleek as
looked
well.
clean. It looked. I understand even where Snyder was going for it to make it a little more alien or whatever. So it did kind of have that vibe. But you know, that just shouted edgy to me. I didn't like it
Yeah.
at all, like that aspect of it. But I appreciated the no underwear. Damn it.
The Superman is about truth, justice, and the American way. He's
Mhm.
about goodness. He's the light where
Well,
Batman
these
is in the
the
dark.
color palette illustrates that.
Yeah, the color palette is all right, but what I'm saying is that the costume sucks.
It
It
does.
really does. I mean, what's the pattern on his shoulders? It's there's no need for that. Just give him a traditional Superman costume and make
Yeah,
sure it
it's
fits in
because they
well.
think that these outfits are boring without the little details, like the little piping details.
Well, they're
on the
wrong,
suit
aren't they?
stuff and-
They're
Yeah,
totally wrong. Again, everyone.
I don't know if they are
I
necessarily.
think they are. I think they are.
Like for
Totally.
Batman, it can work without all the piping because he's supposed to be like he's a dark character, so you know, keep him in the shadows a lot.
But also, Batman has no superpowers, so he has to protect himself. So the costume that he wears is bulletproof, and
Yeah,
it's this
there's
and it's
an
whatever.
excuse.
So that makes sense, right? But Superman, he's kind of like a god, really. You fire a bullet at him, it's not going to affect him. So that costume doesn't need padding. I don't know what, and that belt sucks.
That belt
What
does
the
suck.
hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? It's
It
just,
looks cartoonish. That's all. So now I'm wondering what the tone of this film is, given what the suit looks like, and even that first promotional image we had a couple months ago too,
Yeah,
right? Very
yeah.
colorful, very bright. Also looked a bit cartoonish. So I'm wondering if they're going for just a very light-hearted, kind of genuine comic booky, like Sam Raimi Spider-Man kind of feel.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, they're trying to go back to like you guys probably remember a huge criticism of the DCU, the original one, DCEU, was that it's too dark and it's
It
you know,
was.
it got way too far away, and then you can't have that tonal shift on the fly like they tried, and it just went to shit. This seems like a proper trying to go back to what makes Superman, and the colors suggest that. I just don't know if this is gonna. I don't know how you make Superman click for a modern audience.
You'd
He
look.
seems like such a fucking relic of the past, man.
No, he is not. He is not. They just haven't done it right since the Chris Reeves.
You know, I keep
first
hearing that
movie.
about fucking socialism too.
Well, you know, it's my look. It's my opinion. If I was in charge of Superman, right, my Superman would be had traditional costume. I won't have any other heroes in it apart from Superman. Concentrate on Superman first. Make sure that Clark Kent is completely different to Superman. We have to try and figure out something there because obviously, if he puts his glasses on his face, you can still tell it's Superman. So there's got to be something there, right? You got to try and correct that somehow, and just basically keep him in the light. Again, you know, Batman is in the dark and Superman is in the light. So you have to play with that. You have to make him as likable as possible. Do you know what I mean? And therefore you care for him. Also, you need to get someone that's really hot to play Lois Lane. So
the chick that's playing Lois Lane she's been naked and it's pretty nice under there. So
Mark Brun, I think this comment is says it all right here. Yeah, it doesn't look alien enough. It doesn't look self-made enough. It's a weird mix of a costume because it doesn't tell you anything. It looks like a movie costume.
Wasn't his costume made from the material that was in the ship?
In the ship.
Yeah, so basically that's why it can, you know, it doesn't burn or anything like that because it's Kryptonian material, right? So yeah, I mean, I just think they're trying to be too modern. you know, stick. I believe they should just stick with something that is known throughout the world. You know, because you're not only speaking to America, you're speaking to the world. Just give him the costume that everybody knows. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I think this is James Gunn's like compromise costume. I don't know. Well, I'll see the finished product because I do think they're gonna do some CGI-ish things to it,
Yeah,
like
they
they do with
probably
Spidey's.
will.
So
They
So
probably
yeah,
will.
because I'm thinking of the promo image we did get. The suit is all fitted there,
No,
so
there
they're
was
probably gonna edit.
there was one. There was that one, and then there was a fan that put him in Chris Reeves's costume, and he looked so much better. You've seen that picture where the fan did a fan thing, and they cleaned it up slightly. That's what he should look like. He shouldn't look like. I don't understand the thing about putting scales on people's costumes now. What the hell?
it's to give it texture and make it more interesting because they think that the basic costume's too boring. That's why.
Well, they're wrong.
I agree, and that's the thing. I'm like, I wonder if they just make one costume without all that shit and actually make a judgment call and say, you know what, no, it really doesn't look that good.
I'd like to
see it.
Yeah, I'd just like to understand all this cope that, oh, it's gonna get better in post-production. Do you remember when you would see behind the scenes images of like the actors on the early MCU films and they'd all be wearing the skin tight, like picture perfect superhero suit?
Yeah.
I don't like that this is the norm now that, oh, it's gonna look better after, you know, post-production, guys. Don't worry, it's gonna look better after the seat. No, you're paid literally to fit into that fucking suit. Why does it have to be edited after?
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. The like Spider-Man's current costume, I think it looks the concept's really cool, but it always looks like he's CGI, even when he's not, because they have to CGI to tighten up the face and the neck and everything, and just doesn't look good. And like Spider-Man's costume really peaked with 2014 Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Agreed.
That costume for Andrew Garfield was peak. Absolutely perfect.
It looks rubber though. That was the problem with it. It kind of looks a bit rubber. But
the Andrew Garfield one.
Yeah.
It does. But I mean, what are you gonna do? At least it was real. It was tangible. It was actually there.
Yeah.
It also transitioned a lot nicer when they did do the CGI shots of Spider-Man. It didn't look so obvious. I really liked the Andrew Garfield suits.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And I think the eyes not moving. I remember when he moved to the MCU, I was excited that they got to do some expressions with his eyes, but actually, like what they were first doing compared to what they do now, it's so cartoonish and over the top. So yeah, they took the Deadpool idea, which was he had a little bit of expression, a little bit more expression than you normally would see. And they went overboard with Spidey's like.
See, the thing about the reason why Sam Raimi's films were fun, right? And they're very cartoonish, the way he directed and stuff like that. But the reason why certain effects don't work, like for instance with Superman flying and Spider-Man swinging, is because the camera, subconsciously, a camera cannot catch that. So I guess what they should do, if they want to be realistic, is to imagine if you were filming someone who was actually doing it, where would the cameras be placed? Right? You can't follow someone through a window unless it's on on one of those little gimbal thingies. You know what I mean? So it's again, right, with Man of Steel, Superman was flying so fast you couldn't look at the beauty of him flying. Again, I would refer to Richard Donner's Superman. You can see exactly what he's doing. I mean, even though the effects wasn't as good, but you know, there's one scene where he flies in, he turns in the air and he comes towards the screen, and that was an Donner movie, and it looked really good. So with this new CGI, it's moving so fast, you don't see the beauty of him flying at all. It's just a bit ridiculous, really. Well, I got a feeling that's what.
No, and your comment about the camera movement too, like that, you know, that kind of takes you out and you can't suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
Like the first thing that popped into my mind where the camera moved how it shouldn't and it worked was the Matrix, and that was because it really was capturing those people. And the way they actually did it with like the 1,000 cameras set up to go off in perfect synchronicity.
That works. But I mean, visual effects, if they don't get it right subconsciously, you know, it's not real, right? So That's the thing, you know. What was it? Spider-Man No Way Home, when he was on the bridge and he was leaping up and down and stuff. Even though Tom Holland did some of those stunts, he implemented it with CGI. Your mind's telling you that's not real. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to. Well, unless you do it for real, don't know how to get around that. Really, you know, it's going to be interesting.
Spike and Madness with the funny comment. We can believe a man can fly, but not a camera follow him.
Follow
I mean,
him, yeah.
it is. It's suspension of disbelief. Absolutely. That's why, like, half the time, you know, you're watching it, you go in, you're excited. Like, for example, 2004, I remember going and watching Spider-Man 2, the midnight show, when they actually had midnight shows.
Oh gosh, yes.
And you know, I'm going in there, I'm super hyped for a fucking Spider-Man movie. But during the end of the second act, when he's fighting Dr. Octopus,
yeah.
I absolutely did not believe I was taken out of the movie, because Spider-Man is super powered and punching a human in the fucking face.
Yeah.
And he's totally fine.
Yeah.
And the only reason he's not now is because, you know, he's Dr. Octopus and he has the arm. So now he's a super villain. Like, that's it, you know, those kind of things will take you out of a movie that's about a guy swinging around on fucking webs that shoot out of his wrist.
That's Spider-Man's got the proportional strength of a spider. If he smacked Dr. Octopus in the face, he'll be out like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like him having those arms didn't make him super powered.
No.
And Spider-Man was full on like fucking. Like, if you watch that scene where they're falling off the building onto the train, like he fucking nails him. There's no Spider-Man's pulling his punches argument.
No.
Like, he's trying to knock this guy's head off. So
it's again, right. There's a what you call it, a YouTube called Corridor Crew. I don't know if you watch it. And
about
visual effects.
Yeah,
they were talking about when the Garfield one, where it opens, where he's falling, and you see the costume rippling on his back, and that was the first time they ever tried to do CGI to make it look like the costume was actually on the guy. So yeah, I mean, the costume was better and the visual effects better, but the film was awful, wasn't it? Both of them were awful.
It was bad. Yeah,
it was really bad. So, but you know, again, if you're going to do visual effects, has to be sparingly or invisible, so you don't.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yes, Sandman says Run Runner. Spider-Man 2 is a great movie. No, it was a great movie. I'm just saying, like, even, you know, no movie's flawless. I mean, Jesus Christ, even in The Godfather, when Sonny goes to beat up his sister's husband, who's you know, betrayed them, and he's beaten her, like, when he punches him, for whatever reason they use that camera angle that was at profile, and he misses his face by a fucking mile, you know.
Does,
like no movie's flawless.
But Godfather's a great movie.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best movies ever made.
You reckon?
It was my number one for, like, you know,
a long time
to be the cool kid from like 8 to, you know, whatever. Godfather's best movie of all time. Yeah.
I always get teased because I always say E.T.'s one of the best films ever made, and people go, "What, E.T.?" Like, well, but I see loads of different things in E.T. that people don't see. That makes it great. But you know, I'm a sucker for kids' films, I guess.
Well, hey,
exactly.
I love Rogue One, so.
And
and Jyn Erso is my favorite Star Wars character. So how do you like that?
I don't mind. I thought that film was had its heart in the right place. The only problem is Jyn Erso, the actress that played it, it was like, oh right, I didn't mean that. Cheers, Vex. No, just the woman that played her, she was so wooden, I found.
Yeah, but what I actually really liked was the scene when she sees her father through the hologram, and like you know, like that scene worked for me for, you know, personal reasons and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is actually great acting, because I understand what she's like, she's doing a really good job of projecting what someone probably would be like feeling in that moment.
If the father had simply said, "Hey, shoot a proton torpedo down the exhaust port at the end," then the rest of the film is done. Like,
there's that.
but you know, that film, right, is obvious. That film was was Magnificent Seven. I always liked it. It was Magnificent Seven. Rogue One was Magnificent Seven. Definitely.
Yeah,
Magnificent
it
Seven,
was, wasn't
right.
it?
They did it better than Zach on that stupid. What was that one called? Rebel Moon, because
Yeah,
obviously he was
yeah.
copying Magnificent Seven as well, wasn't he? So you knew everybody
Right.
was going to die. You just knew they were all going to die, obviously. So, but yeah, it was a good film. I really liked it. It's a shame now you look back and you see the Peter Cushing visual effects. It really looks bad now when you look at it.
Wait,
again.
which one does Rogue One?
Rogue One, when they did Peter Cushing. They did CGI on Peter Cushing.
Oh yeah,
right?
that
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
bad. I remember
Yeah.
seeing that in the theater and like,
No, I
well,
saw it in
you
the theater. I
fucking
thought it was
went for it,
okay.
huh?
No,
I
I
didn't then.
thought it was okay, but looking at it again, I think it's really bad. But when I saw it in the cinema, I thought it was okay. It looked
Well,
fine.
it's for me, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, yes, that's really impressive that you made that. It
Yeah.
also doesn't look real, so I wouldn't put it in the fucking movie. Like, it's just not. It doesn't look good.
It's his eyes that doesn't work.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
they got
uncanny
this.
valley situation
Yeah,
there.
they got the skin that moves and stuff like that, but it's his eyes are dead. And it's the same thing with Princess Leia at the ending when she turns to the camera and stuff. The eyes are dead. I think they actually do it much better now, don't they? So I mean, if you looked at what is it, Mandalorian, when they had Luke Skywalker and they had that guy playing Luke Skywalker, that was almost flawless.
Even that was a little uncanny, but then that
It
fan
was-
did like
that was good.
an upscaled version of it, which looked so much better. I think they employed him now as well, so like
Yes.
whatever
Yeah,
the
they
next one was.
did. Yeah.
It's one of those technologies that you go back to Rogue One and you say, well, actually, I can appreciate how far it's come since the last time I saw it. It still looks janky, but given that it's been 3 years and you've improved so much, I can see in the very near future this being almost indistinguishable from the real thing. So it was kind of an interesting little tech demo. Also, I like the idea of having Tarkin back in the role and in a more prominent role like that. I thought, and I think the guy they got to do his voice, which was again slightly CG'd as well, but not well, yeah, because they got a person to read the lines, but then they sort of superimposed, I think, from existing offshoot lines that had already been spoken. It was really interesting to see what they did with him. I Rogue One is I probably the last Star Wars film I could say that I enjoyed watching at all. It's not brilliant, I wouldn't say. I think it's good enough. And if the rest of it had been that quality, we'd be in a much better place now. But
I'd
But
agree with that.
with the CGI, right, the best and the top notch CGI was when they made Harrison Ford younger in the last Indiana Jones films. That was awesome. That really did look like they'd got some footage of him like 20 years ago and put it in that film. It really did. That
was only the voice that let him down, I think.
Yeah. It was almost flawless. Almost. You can see some bits that was.
It was
you know,
when he
a
turned
bit-
his head, you could see that it was, but like
Yeah.
face on, you could that
Yeah.
it was impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very
In a
impressive.
still shot, looks amazing.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Yeah, but but now they're developing a system where they can do it in real time. So they can look at a screen and say make a little platoon Harrison Ford, do you know what I mean? And they can do it in real time.
I
So you
already
can look at
am.
it. Yeah, so there you go. That's going to be amazing for the future, I guess. I don't know, but so visual effects are getting better and better. There's some visual effects you just like I was shocked to see what was that, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Mhm.
You ever see the amount of effects in Wolf of Wall Street?
I know there are a
My
lot.
God,
I didn't
yeah.
expect that either. Yeah.
No,
Like
they're all
where?
incredible. Like when they went to the to get on the boat, that's all a studio. Everything around the sea, the boats, everything.
Where he talks to the FBI agents.
Yeah, that bit and the bit where they all go on a trip. Remember when they all thought they were going to die, as I
Yeah.
recall?
Oh
All-
yes, that was obviously yeah. Okay, you could tell for that one. The water just wasn't
Really?
right. Yeah.
I couldn't. And at the ending where he's in, was it they had a jail shot? All
Okay.
that CGI, the people are real, but everything around it CGI. So you know they can really, they can really do some good stuff now that you won't even notice.
Look at all the
So,
Planet of the Apes films, the newer
oh,
trilogy.
that's amazing. Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
just that. Talk about uncanny. There are a lot of moments where I was just like, "Are we sure that's not a real monkey?"
Yeah. But sometimes you can tell the difference between heights as well, like because they got short legs, haven't they? And and the rest of their body's quite long. But sometimes I think, I don't know, I may be wrong, I could see there's different heights on the same character in some shots. So, but you know, I guess that can't be helped. But I give it the next 5 years, and it'll be flawless. You know what I mean? The effects will be flawless. So the next Alien film, they're saying that they're using practical effects, but I doubt they're going to be using practical effects.
Well, they said they'll use practical effects if it can be done practically. They'll do it that way. So
I think
there's a lot of things I'm sure they can't do with practical effects.
Yeah, well, I think the studio is going to step in, just like The Thing. Remember the prequel, The Thing? They did everything practically, and then the studio came in and said, let's put some CGI in there, and then they messed it up, didn't they? Put loads of CGI in there. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to that one as well, actually. That one looks all right.
Yeah, I am actually looking forward to that too. I honestly thought Deadpool and Wolverine was going to be the only major hit this summer, but you know, with Inside Out 2 actually doing really well, I'm shocked. That'll be 2 Disney hits this year. Huh.
No, that's not good, is it? Really, or is it?
I mean, they're just blips in a radar that's not picking up much of anything else. So, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I don't want them to go under or anything. I want them to make better movies.
Movies.
Yeah, just make better movies. We have a ton of super chats to get through. You guys mind if I dive in here?
Yeah,
go for it.
Go ahead.
Shouldn't Little Platoon be doing it since it's his channel?
Well, you know,
no.
He's taking a nap.
Oh, is he? Oh, no, he's asleep. Oh, he's up. There you go.
Samuel Ayrton. Maybe you should read that, Platoon. For $4.99, she played Rue in Hunger Games, dropped a diss track on all white people, and Donald Sutherland died the next day. Worst timeline ever. Yeah, that Twitter feed must have sucked. Yeah.
Rip Donald Sutherland, by the way. That was a bit
rip. Yeah.
Is he 88, 87? It's pretty old.
88. Very, very natural actor. Nothing he's done, you know, you could say that it was forced or anything like that. Mind you,
he commands a screen no matter how big the role is when he shows up.
Yeah, he was on a lot of drugs when he was in his in the 70s. So
no surprise there.
No surprise there. Yeah, it's a sad loss. Very sad loss.
Hi, Kira, for $5. Platoon, please do a cover of the song with Ryan Kittle and Gary.
Ryan already, I think, did kind of semi-wrap it on FNT on Friday. So that's there for anyone to see. Gary tried to read it and struggled.
Was you on that?
I have been on all of the streams. Open Bar Thursday, FNT Friday, EFAP Saturday, George's yesterday, and here I am today, if you're wondering why I'm falling asleep. In between all of these things, fucking video editing, which I'll be doing after this as well. It's great.
Don't you pay someone to do your editing for you?
Yeah, but I also have to do some of it because my videos are long.
His videos are an hour and a half. You imagine paying someone to make a fucking hour and a half video? Oh my God.
Yeah, I guess.
Can't do the whole thing.
Hour and a half. Jesus.
Here, hey Mega Geek, you want to read one?
If I can.
Oh, you absolutely can.
Joe for $4.99. When I was a kid, we called rap retards. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you just have. So okay, why not?
Attempting poetry, yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for the $4.99, Joe. Great US treasure hunt for $5. Other actors on set. What is that Korean actor doing with his face? It's called acting. Is that a Korean thing? Look how his face is changing. Yep, Master Squid Game kicking ass. The only person kicking ass in the Acolyte set.
Right, it's referring to him. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward to being called racist when the next video comes out, because I did do an impression of him, which I realized after I did it might sound racist.
Oh God!
I really like him. I keep saying I really like him. It's just if anyone's going to clip anything, it'll be that.
Yeah.
I think the most talked about thing in my Velma season 2 review was my Shaggy impression, like the rapper.
Oh, is Shaggy in season 2?
No, I just like I was so bored with the show, I wrote it into the script that I was going to do Shaggy impression. So I just fucking winged it. This one's for you, Vex, if you would like to read it.
Sure. Okay. Genma Cha for 2 communist dollars. Hey Vex, did you finish the Dune novels? Thoughts? I have not started the Dune novels, unfortunately. I did just recently read one of Lance's books though, and I was quite moved by it. So
The Dune novel's like a brick, though, isn't it?
I've
Oh,
actually
I
got
bought
the first one sitting right next to me. Yes, it is a brick.
yeah, I got like a this like beautiful like leather bound version that has all 3 books in one book.
Wow.
I just haven't started it yet.
Just buy the audio version.
I
That's
don't
the-
like audiobooks actually. Like I can't focus on them. It just kind of like goes in one ear out the other. I prefer
Oh,
reading.
really?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not very good at reading. I'm like I start a page halfway down the page. I'm thinking of something else because you know your eyes just scan.
God,
everything
you
and
just
it's like-
fucking ADHD people.
I think that's yeah, ADHD.
Yeah, every time I hear something like that too, I get like offended, and it's really just because I'm the exact same way. So, like, God, just stop reminding me.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, it's not. I'm not very good at reading.
That's okay.
Metal Face Rosie for $4.99. I promise good hip hop does. I promise good hip hop does exist. My name is a motherfucking Doom reference.
Oh, you weren't going to say MF.
Uh,
That sounded
I'm
for something.
sure I want to say,
Okay.
never pass up an opportunity to say fuck.
All right.
Kuruvindi, is that how you pronounce that?
I don't know.
Kuruvindi?
Good enough.
Sounds right.
That sounds for $5. Thank you. If I recall, on Geeks and Gamers, Chris Gore said Smilo Ren is one of the moms, and
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
so
That's what we said earlier. Like that was my guess until I realized that it would make sense.
Yeah, but God, I don't even know why you're watching those. Seriously, I know people make money on it, but it's just so awful. Immediately when they just said, "Oh yeah, we created her," I'm like, "Oh no, how did you create with no dad, just 2 moms?" Or
you
was
know
it
what I
with-
like to do?
What's that?
I like to do my job and make a more entertaining video than the thing I'm reviewing.
All
It's
right.
like, yeah,
I
that's the
like
goal.
knowing that I'm more profitable than Lucasfilm.
Yeah, well, all you have to do is make a fucking dollar for that. The guy that stands on the
Disney,
street
if you want to
corner,
give me $4 billion to buy me, I'll take it.
the guy that stands on the street corner at the fucking light every day, he has a way better like financial situation, you know? Like he's smart.
Damn.
Doesn't smell good though.
Did I wait, is this up? Was it not?
It is up.
Oh, there. Okay. No, it was just, yeah, everything's delayed. I need a new computer. Pick me splints for $20. Thank you. We couldn't afford a Wookiee fight scene. I'm not sure if any of you have seen the is that Astartes miniseries?
Is that a Warhammer thing?
I don't know.
Don't know.
That's probably one of the reasons why I can't pronounce it. But that man did that with no funding from anyone. If you get a chance, y'all should check it out. Oh yeah, they said they couldn't afford a fight scene for the Wookiee for budget reasons. $180 million budget, guys.
$180 million.
$180 million budget. Don't do the Wookiee fight scene.
Well, maybe it looks stupid because he's very tall, isn't he? And Wookiees are not renowned for moving fast, are they? Let's face it.
No. I mean, they could do it. I mean, the other reason they gave, which is the more justifiable one, is that it would have broken the episode's point of view, and it would have probably not actually fit the way they'd written it to jump away and reveal Smiler Ren before they were ready to do that, which makes sense. I mean, that's a reason not to do something if it just simply wouldn't fit the story structure you've got. But then my solution to that would be don't kill him, have him survive and take part in the fight in the next episode. That would be easy enough to do. You wouldn't break POV, and it would save money on this one. So there are no justifiable reasons for it, really, but that was the stronger of the 2 reasons that were given for not having him.
How many episodes left then?
4, yeah.
4.
Mm.
Good luck.
Yep.
Only 1 more month of not sleeping. It'll be great.
What's this?
John Javi for $5. Are you guys going to watch The Boys season 4? I checked out after 2, didn't finish 3. Need to know if it's worth checking out. Yeah, you probably have your answer by this point. I haven't even watched it. I gotta just watch season 1.
I'm gonna keep watching season 4 now that I know Jared Padalecki might be coming on season 5.
Okay.
What makes you say that though? Vex?
No, because I'm a huge fan of Supernatural.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's why. And he's like Eric Kripke is just bringing on every Supernatural person he can think of into the boys now. So like I was really excited to see Jensen Ackles last
Yeah.
season. I like seeing Jeffrey Dean Morgan this season.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jared Padalecki next season. And there's almost like a dozen alums he's just sprinkled out through the boys.
Did he not play Texas Rain Texas
Walker Ranger.
Texas
Yeah. That show just got canceled a couple months ago, so that probably explains why he's in talks now. for the
Right,
boys.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a hit?
No, it did decently, but it
taking
wasn't like
no
a
on them.
hit. So I liked the first season, but I didn't follow through after
Does
that.
he do kung fu in it? Like
No.
Chuck Norris? Oh,
No.
okay. Okay, well that's
It's a more serious take on Texas Walker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, never mind.
Liam Hemmings for $5.99 in fake money. Amanda should apologize for her Viking ancestors selling slaves from Europe to the Middle West.
True.
Mhm.
She oppressed my people, and I want my reparations.
What's her surname again?
Stenberg.
Angela Stenberg.
It's got a Jewish name.
No, it's Danish.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was because like every time a Berg appears, it's isn't kind of Jewish. Berg. I don't know.
Liam throwing in the $2.49 to correct himself. Oops, Middle East.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's nice of him, isn't it? Giving you some more money just to correct himself.
Yeah.
I had already corrected it for him. Didn't even need to. But we appreciate it all the same. Alan Santos for 2 fake monies as well. The Queer Sniffer mole plushie is going to sell.
Yeah.
What?
What did I just fucking read?
What queer sniffer mole plushie?
What the fuck? Breaking news, everyone. Julian Assange is being freed, apparently. I
Oh,
just
dear.
saw it. Breaking news from 4 different locations. So
Who?
Julian Assange.
Julian
WikiLeaks.
Assange.
Who's that?
The WikiLeaks guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Breaking news on BSUP. You're welcome.
We now go live to the scene of the Ecuadorian embassy.
Yeah.
Thought we were talking about the Acolyte. Fuck that. Breaking news. Failed the Turing test for $5. Fixing the Acolyte. Do a shot-for-shot remake in the style of a 1970s Hanna-Barbera Saturday morning cartoon show. The power of money.
That avatar she's got there, that reminds me. When is Snow White coming out?
Didn't they
It's
post one for
actually
next year?
they're
Or
doing
25?
reshoots right now. Gal Gadot recently confirmed that unintentionally in an interview.
Oh, I see.
So it got pushed to next March, so March 2025, but who knows if they'll push it again.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
Marco Jansen for an ass $5. Let the rage flow through yourself, Amandla. Give in to your hate and anger. Now fully embrace the dark side. No facial expression in return. Yeah. Just how she plays her characters.
I gotta admit, I do find her cute, actually. I think she's quite cute.
A pox on your
acting like
house.
a mad person, maybe, but I don't like the epileptic seizures are not attractive, and that seemed to be what she was having.
I don't
know. Simon Ho for a California $2. DEI, discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination.
There you go.
Well
I think
done.
that's what it
Well
really
said.
means. That's what it really means, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it really means.
Well, I wish they just called it die. Like
2 on the nose.
Yeah, 2 on the nose. Stone Black reviews for, I'm just going to assume $1,000 American dollars. That's fucking
yen.
crazy.
No, that's yen. Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you for the super chat. Squid Game spoke English before Acolyte. Check his Emmy acceptance speech. He took a crash course, most likely for pronunciation. He took an English course is being taken a bit far. Perhaps. It's still super impressive that he's the best actor in that show, and it's not his native language, and it's not even like, much of a second language to him. It sounds like previously. Yeah, it's still impressive nonetheless.
Did we find out why all the witches died at the end of the 3rd episode?
Not yet.
It'll be later. There'll be another flashback at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries.
Simon Ho for another California $2. Star Wars Jedi is now spelled Jedi.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised.
Sad Kermit for you, Platoon gifted 20 Little Platoon memberships.
Ooh, thank you very much, Sad Kermit.
What does that mean?
I don't entirely know
20,
myself. The channels have memberships that I think they're a monthly thing. I guess it's buying people a month of a membership, which on my channel, sorry to say for everyone who's just been given a membership, doesn't really mean anything because I don't know how memberships work, so the perks don't exist. But it's there are some like custom emojis that I think you can use. I remember
well,
uploading
there you go. That will
like,
be
some,
for
but they like the way I did it was just taking really shitty pictures and just like using those, and they don't have any practical use. I really need to update this stuff at some point, but I need to actually have time to do that. But it's very generous, by the way.
Yes. Okay.
It's like when people are in chat, they can use, like he was saying, like custom emoji stickers, etc., that type of stuff. You can do all kinds of things. It's really up to you what you do.
Feet pics?
Feet pics? You might do that.
I mean, theoretically, yeah. I don't see why anybody would, but you could.
I mean, you could do feet pics, is what I'm saying.
Why would I do that? I'm not a degenerate in that particular way.
Tornax for 249. What is your guess why Felony approved Acolyte? I assume you mean Felony approved Acolyte.
Because he has no taste. He's crap. I don't know why people think that Dave Filoni is anything good for Star Wars. I think this. I've already forgotten which stream it came up on, but someone pointed out that if Filoni were really as good as lots of his fans think he was, then he would have been chosen probably to take over Lucasfilm and not Kathleen Kennedy. Wasn't done. He then also has okayed pretty much everything. He got promoted on the back of Ahsoka. He had complete creative control over Ahsoka, and Ahsoka was crap. This is a guy who claims to know things about Star Wars. That's basically his whole stock. But he's a crap writer, so.
Fearsome Auditor for $20. Thank you very much, sir. Why does TLP? I'm assuming your gender. Fearsome could, be anything. Why does TLP keep making fun of the Welsh in his videos? Shouldn't he be content that his people conquered them centuries ago and tolerate their quirky language?
No. You have to keep them down psychologically and morale as well. Like people, we've seen this with the Scots. If you give them an inch of pride, then they decide they want to be independent. So it's all like you have to keep them under control.
There you go. So you've been told he will carry on making fun of the poor Welsh. Thank you for the super chat. Discount Dracula for $2. Disney Star Wars is a money laundering operation. So has been speculated.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Could be. I mean, it wouldn't be Star Wars alone. Certainly been speculated with a number of MCU projects, all kinds of stuff. Princess Fiona. I marked this one because she's right. Netflix was one of the first companies to pull away from ESG. In 2016, all their stuff was gay. They were losing money. They started making a more varied slate of content.
Yes.
Yeah, I pointed this out recently too. You can't go harder than the Tom Brady roast that they just recently had.
Yes.
So, the fact that they have Hannah Gatsby, who's the most unfunny fucking person on planet Earth, but because she's left, she can complain and get paid the exact same as Dave Chappelle, who they also host. So yeah, they definitely have a varied slate of content, and that's probably contributing to why they won the fucking streaming wars. What a shock.
They still are number one, aren't they? Or are they number one in the streaming thing? But yeah, I mean,
last month Tubi was actually in the US.
Was it? Was it?
Yep.
God. Me know that, not real money. Yeah. Campbell Patterson for an ass $5. Hey guys, been a while. I recently sprained my wrist and it's still less painful than watching the Acolyte. I'd rather break my hand than do it again. Yep.
I hope your wrist heals fast.
Yeah.
Genmacha also asked me, Cynic, did you figure out what docking was? He didn't seem to know last stream. I assume, I think things were going so fast and I saw you ask me a question. I assume you mean like docking the tail of animals?
No.
No, I will not be doing that. You asked me that after I picked up Gary, I think. I picked up Jub this time. My two cats, Gary and Jub.
It's a very different kind of docking, I think he was asking about.
Yeah.
We'll park that one.
Well, you know what? I'm just
Can
gonna
I-
go with
can
what
I-
I thought it was.
Can I inform him? Can we educate him?
Yeah, why don't you just educate me then?
Okay. So docking is when two men with penises, okay, basically they put one penis under the foreskin of the other.
Oh
and-
God! Can we move on to the super chat? What's going on? Oh God!
There's a
I
dock.
thought it was
What's
something
up?
innocuous asked about my cat.
At least we've confirmed you're not going to be docking with your cat, though, right? So
Right.
Fucking no.
that's encouraging.
God.
Can't take Vex anywhere.
It's big L cynic for not knowing that. Fuck you.
I kind of think Cynic is the winner in that situation. Now
I'm the
he's the
fucking
loser.
winner, and I'm leaving this. Oh my God. Oh God. I can't read that either.
Argonaut.
Argonaut.
Another name there
Yeah.
for 1999. Well done. Thank you for that super chat. I'm the one who told Gary Mahler and Az about OSHA and May being named after a soap company. Search OSHA May soap.
Oh.
OSHA. Hold on, I'm gonna search it. Okay, OSHA.
OSHA
So
May
placing a
soap.
bulk order later. It is a Canadian company.
Mm.
Wow,
It's true.
it's true.
And is it a Canadian soap?
It is located in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh wow. Wow.
Oh, I actually kind of like some of these products. Oh shit. Okay.
Stephen Delian for $5. You must choose one. Josh Brolin poetry audiobook on repeat, The View on repeat, The Acolyte on repeat, the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh god. It's a terrible choice.
Is
Josh Brolin poetry.
Is he reading it himself?
Yeah. Or is it like Platoon's version where he's reading it?
Either or, I'll take with the Josh Brolin poetry.
Yeah,
I think I would
as
too,
well. I would, yeah. Boba Fett was awful.
I don't know how long I could watch The View without like eating my own eyeballs.
I think you'd want to eat your ears. In all honesty, that might be worse than what you're looking
Yeah,
at.
good point.
Axis 1247 for $10. Man of Steel ruined basically every fight after it, where both characters were capable of flight. Everything turned into weightless Dragon Ball Z fights without the spectacle. Yeah, I actually thought that too when like the worst of the Matrix Revolutions, the 2003, that started coming out in Man of Steel. When Neo was fighting Agent Smith at the end of that movie in what's dubbed the Super Burly Brawl. That kind of it's what it felt like too. Just kind of weightless Dragon Ball Z style fights of people just bashing into each other.
They did it because they could, instead of thinking about if they should do it, because Superman would never have endangered people's lives. He would have taken that fight elsewhere, wouldn't he? Because he'd be thinking about, well, proper Superman, of course. Don't you think? No. So he would endanger everyone's lives, smash up a building and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, what was super funny about that whole situation too was that he tried to pretend like it was part of the story. Like, oh no, there'll totally be repercussions in the next movie.
And he rode up.
Oryx 221 for $5. Platoon, why haven't you finished your Ahsoka episode reviews? I love those. Been waiting for the rest.
Like these things take a long time to put together, and that's without sleeping very much. And so they have to do a certain amount of numbers performance-wise to be worth the time cost sunk putting into them. And also not to like drag like the rest of the channel content videos and things down. The sad thing about the Ahsoka videos is that they just didn't. I liked them as videos, but they didn't pull the numbers in. That was partly, I think, because I was doing them late but episodically, and in future I wouldn't do it in that way. I'm gonna try and finish it one day. I finished Star Trek Discovery years after the fact, just because I just need some time in which to do it, which will entail not being on 5 live streams in 5 days while video editing at the same time. So one day it may be completed, but it's not a priority at the moment.
It's a terrible show anyway.
Larry for $20.
Again.
Always.
Damn it, Larry.
You always count on Larry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry. Good friend Mega Spidey Man for $5. What's the best response to criticism you've seen from an artist? Looking forward to your next review, Platoon.
Didn't Tom Holland come out after there was a series he was doing? I think it was on Apple. It might have been on Apple. I can't remember. I'm sure like it was not particularly well received by critics, and he came out and basically just owned it. He said he was proud to be in it, but people are entitled to their view. He respected their opinions. There's always room for improvement. All the rest of that stuff. He seemed to take it really well and just generally be nice about it. I can't remember what the show was. But
I know
that
what you're
seems like a good
talking
approach.
about. It was last year, I think it was. But yeah, he had just a really nice response to it. Not hateful. He was just like, I'm proud that I was part of this project. It's okay.
What about Sydney Sweeney? She admitted that
her
that
response
film
was just having big tits. I mean, that's that she had those going in.
Well, they flattened it, didn't they, for that stupid film? What was it called again? That one
Madam
that you
Web.
loved, Madam Web. Yeah,
It was very funny.
there you go. So, yeah, apparently she was quite gracious, wasn't she, when everybody was slagging off?
I like the celebrities that just don't say anything at all.
Yes.
I think those are the best ones. Like Henry Cavill's a great example. He's gotten a lot of shit thrown at him for the DCU stuff and then his choices in film and whatnot, but he just stays quiet and then he posts like positive shit online. So I like when celebrities do that instead of actually like say something to the mob.
I preferred it when we didn't know anything about celebrities. It was
that
just
too. Yep.
that in the
Back in the
film.
day.
Yeah.
Great U.S. treasure hunt for $5. Smilo Ren's helmet will come off, revealing one of the women. No, I am your mother. Oh God, it's a possibility.
So what did I say on Brown's channel? I said that they were going to turn this villain into a goodie, and they have.
It would be the mom,
right?
then.
Not the mom, the evil twin.
Oh,
she's
May
been
would become
forgiven.
good.
Yeah, or even if she's not turned into a good person, she'll be sort of morally forgiven. There'll be something understandable about her actions. Like she'll be exonerated sort of by having been forced into an intolerable position. Something like that, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if they went even further and did make her an objectively good person too, but I don't know. We'll see.
We all know it's coming. We all know it's coming.
I can't wait to watch it. Fail it.
Yeah.
Whatever it wants to do. It's gonna be amazing. Larry, for another $2. Here's your better than Disney profit margin.
Thank you.
You're not wrong. Here's Larry again for another $2. Here's your better than Disney profit margin. Thank you, Larry. Waylon Pacephis for $1.99. Bucket of AIDS or the Acolyte?
Ooh. Can I throw the bucket of AIDS at somebody? I think I can, can't I? So bucket of AIDS, definitely.
Pierced by light for a California 5. In Canada, DEI training is literally called Jedi training.
It's true.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, you guys. First the docking thing, and now this.
I'm sure I read an article as well, like someone complaining about that because the Jedi are too much like white savior religious people, and that's bad, so we can't call it Jedi. These people are basically insane. But what does the J stand for in Jedi? Do we know?
I'm actually not sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
J for justice, says Dave.
Justice? It could be justice. Jizz.
Justice, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
In Canada, though, they really are strong in this left.
Oh, it's called the Joint Economic Development Initiative.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's even worse.
And it works with partners to foster Indigenous economic development in New Brunswick, which is one of our eastern provinces.
Ellie and Kat for $20. Thank you guys. At Little Platoon. Became a fanboy appreciating your expansive wit, history, art, politics, etc. If you won't publish your Pokemon stories, perhaps you could analyze one of my favorite movies, Borman's 1981 Excalibur.
No one will ever see anything I wrote before I was 12. That's just not a rule. And I think I was like 7 at the time. It's basically just, from what I remember, it was just ripping off Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings as well anyway. So actually it would make way more sense than anything Disney puts out, but it's still not ever going to be published. And I'll have a look at Excalibur. I'm not probably going to break it down though, just because I do not have enough time in the world. But thank you for the recommendation.
I loved Excalibur. I thought it was a great movie when I first saw it. It was very different to what was being put out, the same genre. So
The big shit for an ass 5. I'm convinced, based on politics and dog shit writing so far, Smilo will be Trinity. Thoughts? And if so, good or bad?
That could be
Oh, sorry.
genuinely interesting, but
It could be.
that means it won't be.
Yeah.
Jedi training is actually justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion.
Oh.
Right.
So there's 2. There you go. One for indigenous people and one overall.
Hey.
Blaze Stone for a California 5. Taking a few seconds before going to the restaurant to say, let's go Oilers. Hope you all have a great show and watch the video on demand afterwards.
What is it? Which is the many 2 sports that I'm aware of in America are the Oilers?
So this is hockey and Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight.
Oh.
Or I believe it's tonight. And yeah, my Boston Celtics won the fucking NBA championship this year. And so I am I thought I'd be wearing a Celtics shirt. I didn't for whatever reason. I went with the blue to stick with the color, but it is a green summer here.
Over here, it's what is it? Is it the European? Because I'm not.
It is the European Championships are on at the moment.
Yeah, European football rubbish. Whatever. Yeah, my brother watches it, and I just can't stand football. But there you go. So you got that. We got this.
Yeah, well, I've waited a long time for the Celtics to win another fucking championship. That's why a couple of weeks ago, like I was so confident they were going to win. I did a deep dive on the stats, and exactly what happened is exactly what I predicted.
Did they win?
Oh yeah.
All right.
In fucking dominating fashion. And it was weird because like 9 out of 13 of the sports experts picked the other team to win, and so I just did a deep dive, and I was like, "You guys are fucking stupid. You guys are so stupid. Like their Celtics are finally going to win this year," and they did. That's why I went up to. I was so sure they were going to win. Like I went up to Boston to go to one of the games so I could be a part of it.
Did you put any money on it?
And no, I should have.
You should have.
Well, no, I think. Yeah, I guess I should have because most people were picking Dallas, and honestly, is mostly just because most people hate Boston. So,
all right.
And anyone like it didn't take a fucking statistician or anything to like. You don't need to be an analytics genius to take a look at that and be like, yeah, Dallas is gonna fucking lose big time. Yeah. We look at that one. We have 2 left. Stephen Delian for $2. Platoon, can you give us your best Welsh accent?
I do not have a Welsh accent, so I can't give you my best one. I do not have a single Welsh accent.
He doesn't do impersonations. You should know that. Everybody should know that.
And one more. Thunderstorm for $4.99. Acolyte, still no kiss. Supposedly lesbian couples are in the show. Disney go full oh my goodness. I don't know if I can say that on here. Or go home. Yeah, maybe you can watch it for yourself and check it out.
For the gayest Star Wars ever, there's not that much of the gay in it. I mean, it's gay in the other sense, in it being just shit, but it's not like gay as in the big gay sense.
Well, Doctor Who beat that, didn't it? With the gay kiss. So there you go.
Another super chat came in, but Vex does have to run before we head out here. So I'll let her off the hook first here. Yeah, she's going to be over another stream. Vex, thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, it was my pleasure, even through all the stupid Star Wars chat. So,
yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And where will you be next? So people can follow you if they want.
I will be on Toxic Femininity on Nina Toxic Femininity on Nina Infinity's channel for an hour, and then MMM is reviewing The Karate Kid for the 40th anniversary.
Are you going to go on that as well?
Yeah, that's at 9. So I'll be on Toxic Fem for an hour and then hop into MMM after that, where I will make the argument that was it? Oh my God, what's the villain's name? Not LaRusso. Well, Daniel LaRusso is the villain of The Karate Kid, actually.
What?
Johnny Lawrence is the hero. Yes.
No way.
Yes way. Yes way.
No. Oh well, never mind. I guess you have a reason, right?
I do have my reasons, yes, and they're all bullet pointed in a Google Doc.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. Have a good night. All right.
You
See
too.
you later.
See ya.
Ta-da.
And one more flew in under the radar here. Bonesaw is ready for $5. Man, modern basketball is boring to watch. No defense and a bunch of dudes sinking threes for 2 hours is boring as hell. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I think my favorite basketball era was probably biased. This is when I started. It was mid 2000s, around the time the last Celtics championship. So that era was a little more tough. And it is weird, like you see scores in like the 120s and 130s regularly. I think some of the highest scoring offenses in history were like 7 out of the top 15 were like this year. And only one team won a championship and a bunch of teams didn't even make the playoffs. It's weird. It's a different era. It's not for everyone.
Bonesaw is ready. Isn't that from Spider-Man 2?
Yeah. Yeah. The original, the 2002.
That was the first one. Yeah, the first
Yeah,
Spider-Man
yeah.
one. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Bonesaw.
Yeah.
Okay. But Mega, thanks for stopping in.
That's
Much
all right.
appreciated.
No worries. No worries.
And are you up to anything you want to let everyone know about where they can find you?
The only channel I have is the Rebecca Gold channel, which everybody knows. It's a web series, yeah. But I am working on Rebecca Gold 2, season 2. It's taken me ages to do it because I'm working around actors and I have to shoot when they're available. So it's coming up to a year now that I've been working on this. So I'm hoping that I can finish it before the end of this year, but it's not looking likely. So, but I promise you'll enjoy it once it's been released. I think we've got something really good here. So there you go.
It's excellent. And well, I will be releasing a video on the Acolyte this week. Surprise, surprise.
Good luck.
Yeah. And Platoon, what about you?
I will be releasing a video on the Acolyte this week. Crazy. It might even be 2, depending on how quickly I can get episode 5 turned around. But the plan is for episode 4 to go out tomorrow. If the sponsor, who is supposed to have approved something by now, would like to get in touch after this stream, if they happen to be watching, please fucking approve it so I could just. Otherwise, I'm going to run it without you. But yeah, there should be a video tomorrow. That's the plan. I'm going straight away after this to continue work.
And we will see you all next week, chat. Thank you, everyone who sent in super chats. Thanks to everyone who stuck through. The stream is still 1,300 plus watching. It's amazing. And we will see you all next week.
Ta-da.
Bye.
Time.